So, Wooly, um, you know that the last thing I would ever want is to start one of these podcasts on a negative tone or bring an element of drama into what we do.
I always come in with a smile and open arms, ready
Me,
for fun.
me too, absolutely. It's just this is a fun podcast, and it's a fun podcast about friendship, about happiness and about connection. Like since the very beginning, I've always said that.
You have. Oh, my bad. Okay. Damn. Okay. Well, shit.
But I understand. I understand that very occasionally, friendship comes with a bit of ribbing, right? A few japes back and forth, a little
bit of that.
a little bit of humor at the other person's expense.
Jocularity.
Jocularity is a phenomenal way to put it. I engage in it myself, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, no, totally. And the very odd time clips of said jocularity will make their way back to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you've experienced it. John said this on stream, but it's all fun. It's all fun.
Just some good mirth, just happy mirth.
Mirth, absolutely.
Yeah.
A clip made its way back to me recently, Wooly, and I guess I just have to address this head on. You got a little racial.
Oh, did I? Oh, did I?
You got
Did
a little racial, Wooly.
Or did you get racial by rejecting the food of the West Indies by turning down the doubles?
So, okay, now first of all, Wooly, I think there is an element of privacy that was breached here. That's okay. I'm letting that go.
Oh, the NDAs were signed, of course.
Yeah. But no, I believe at one point there was a, and I'm just going to read it here because I have it written down because it did really
taking notes.
I believe the words you used were the caucasity of these white boys.
If we check the stenographer script on that, I believe Reggie and I did in fact point that out. Yes, this observation was made.
Okay, so first of all, don't try and drag Reggie down with you, okay? But you see, you've left me in a difficult position now, Wooly, because you have gotten racial, I kind of have to get racial now too.
Oh, please. By all means, I'm. Let me crank the volume up.
Let's be real, Wooly. Let's be real.
Oh yeah.
This has been simmering for a long time. This has been simmering for. There has been an underlying tension to this podcast. There has been a pressure building up, and I think it's time to release that pressure.
We're not live, John. We're not live. This is recorded in advance.
Okay. Okay. Here we go, Wooly. I think I have a special connection to our black audience, and I think it makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, you know what? I think that
I think they see me, Wooly, as a real one.
Right. Yes. No. It okay. I mean, damn, now that you're pointing shit out, like, there is a bit of a threatening aura to, just how you move and how you stay moving. And, I do think that, the people are feeling it. I think that they're aware. And there's just something that can't be denied about that. And you're right. Maybe I was just hating on, I guess just God help anybody that tries to stand in the way of a white boy getting a little motion, right? God forbid a white boy get a little motion.
Listen, if I could turn it off,
like,
I would, buddy. I can't.
That's it, right?
I can't not be me.
I think you are a white boy that has gotten a little bit of motion, and the people have noticed. And I think that we just need to fall back. Sometimes we need to fall back and just make space for it. Yeah,
and like, if you polled our black audience on who they liked better, who's to say what the result would be? There's no way to tell. There is in fact no way to tell. Now I feel so much better that this is out in the open. This has just been eating at me for so long, and it just feels good to kind of to release.
Absolutely. I'm here. I feel that. I understand where you're coming from. I think I probably would do pretty well with the numbers in Ireland if we were to check. I feel like
I have no doubt. Oh, Woolie, you would outpoll me in Ireland, no problem. Let me tell you, there's nothing the Irish hate like the Irish.
By default. Right. And so we get to the issue at hand then. The problem is, of course, is that you would have to rely on not really informing the people, such as you just did now, because you made reference to some of this mirth and jocularity that occurred, but you didn't quite explain what was discussed in said clip. So,
well, I don't know that that's necessary.
Yeah, so I think that the popularity you're enjoying, with the culture, I think that you are also perhaps, details matter, and the people are not aware of the fact that perhaps, someone in Toronto came and brought us a bag of like really just lovingly made and delicious doubles, which are a kind of roti with the chickpeas in it, and in this case he had a little bit of tamarind, almost like a hint of mango going on as well. Really sweet curry wrapped in the roti skin, and everything was like some of the best I've ever had personally. I need to have my roti with meat. I'm very adamant about that, and this was like one of the first times ever I've had it without meat, and I've been like, this is unbelievable, right? And we got just a lovely couple came up and dropped that off to share for all of us, and me and Reggie were just head over heels and just loved it, and it was to share for all. And we were like, hey Foxcade, hey John, some of the best doubles you'll ever taste here. And lo and behold, before the weekend was out, half that bag went to waste. And
okay,
and simply
there was a logistical error made. Okay, it was a logistical error. That's all that happened. And I will take ownership over the logistical error. Woolie, I'm not great at organizing. Okay, it happens. The problem is that it's what I keep saying, buddy. You got a bit racial, and to reduce Foxcade of all people to his whiteness. Woolie, Foxcade is straight up jaunty. Okay, he's a jaunty gentleman, right?
Listen,
and I won't stand. And look, I'll talk shit about Foxcade all day. I'll fucking do it. I regularly do.
I have very few good things to say about Toronto, but one of the things I will say is they have the West Indian food on lock. And when some of the best West Indian food in this place comes through on demand practically, and Reggie and I are like, we cannot believe the blessing that we've been graced with this day. And then it just so happens that, the appreciation falls along racial lines. What conclusion are we left to draw? Especially after reminders were given.
The way I see it, Woolie,
it felt almost
is
as if
that
there was,
the way I see it is that the world is in a divisive time, and I am a healing presence. Okay, I am the bomb along the line, and you're trying to take that away from me.
Yeah, I felt that when we informed you of what was going on and how, you know, someone had just brought this very enjoyable treat, I felt that you and Foxcade exchanged looks, and there was a little bit of a there was an unspoken there was an unspoken moment, an unspoken word in the look you shared with each other.
What, Woolie? What was this unspoken word?
Reggie and I don't know what went unsaid, but there was a little bit of a look, and in that look, perhaps a century of history.
Whose fucking history, Woolie? Not mine! I never did shit! My people never did shit! I have heard what the whites do, and all I can say is who would do that? That's crazy! Not I. Not my people.
The next time, all you have to do is eat some fucking doubles, John. That's all you got.
I'll
Just
do it.
eat the
It was a
fucking doubles.
It was a logistical error. It was a logistical error. It was nothing more. Whatever crazy prejudice you think is happening in the brains of your friends was not happening.
So was I hallucinating when I saw, or thought I saw, you guys alley-ooping dunks, windmill dunks of the doubles into the trash after we walked away? Did that actually occur, or was
Listen,
that?
we might have had some fun with it, Woolie, but that's beside the point.
Did I see an NBA
to the person who brought the rotis? I'm sorry I didn't eat it. I forgot it was there. I also forgot about all this delicious chocolate that someone else gave us.
That was really good chocolate. It was really.
It was. I actually did have a little bit, but I did forget about a lot of it, and then I found it in my bag. And look, the lesson here is simple. I am bad at things, okay? That's it. That's all.
Like racial understanding. I'm Woolie Versus.
I'm Eyepatch Wolf.
And we are...
Versus Wolf!
Yes.
Welcome
Welcome back. Truly. Welcome back to the podcast that demonstrates what happens when someone pretending to be crazy encounters someone pretending to be sane.
Whoa!
And I think we all know how those lines go. So
I mean, I could really... I see a strong argument for both. Wow.
Yeah. I think that's about right.
Did you come up with that one yourself?
No,
Was that plucked from somewhere?
No, that was plucked.
Okay.
I feel like it has been an eventful month. Many things have happened.
It has, for sure. And it's an eventful day for Versus Wolves. Do you mind if I tell them, Woolie?
Please.
So, a long time discussion for Versus Wolves is like, would we ever think of bringing on a third member? And I have always been kind of reluctant to do so. Because I feel like it is a very specific chemistry that we have going on here.
This bit again. We just did this. You did this at the first live event, and then you did it at the second live event we just did, and now we're just recapping it for a third time on the.
No, this one's legit. This one's proper.
Yeah, you know what? Here, please. Yes, and.
But
yes,
the thing is, I have always kind of felt is that I would never bring a person onto this podcast unless we knew it was going to be a perfect fit. And Woolie, it is the great honor of Versus Wolves to introduce that third member.
What the fuck are we doing?
And
right
I think you'll find them a little familiar. To Tupac Shakur is coming to Versus Wolves.
Now hold on.
So Woolie, I appreciated you doing the build up there, but why don't you tell the people about how long we've been planning this and how you're feeling?
Now hold on. Did we clear this with the estate?
Yeah.
Even though the estate is currently just one record exec, a CEO.
That's what made it so easy, buddy.
And did we clear it with the family as well? This is all on the up and up and up. Okay.
Do you mind if I address
Snoop
the
Dogg's
controversy
cool
head
with
on?
it.
Yes, very.
Okay.
Do you mind if I address the controversy head on here? Because I know people are gonna just say stuff in the comments. I can feel people already being like, John, Tupac did not know what Versus Wolves was, and there's no way you could know that he would have wanted to be a part of this. And the thing I always say there is that we can't ask him because he's dead.
So, hogwash, really?
That's it.
Yeah. Look, who am I to say that puppeting the ghost of the dead is something that a podcast should not do? You know?
I just feel like I can't make that call. I can't take on that responsibility for humanity.
It truly is groundbreaking, after the holograms and everything, to then take it to the next level. And most importantly, truly, what I think matters most here is when it comes to credit, because, this will not be AI voiced as a third mic here, right? This is we're going to get somebody cast as a sound-alike. And the thing is the sound-alike is going to have to be credited as Tupac, who will be credited as himself, or do we just I don't know.
But okay, when you describe that, I'll tell you what I see, Woolie. I see a beautiful circle. Just, one performer feeding into the other, an infinite loop of creativity. Never letting the dead rest is what I see.
I see thumbnails that are gonna go hard as fuck from now on. Just Pac in a fucking leprechaun hat and just
Pac's talking about the Backrooms. Yeah,
all of it. Yeah, I think that the I saw, after all the discussion kind of wrapped up and stuff, someone effectively said, if there was a game that was called Like a Dragon, The Rose That Grew from Concrete, right? Which is the name of his book. And it was actually, or if there was a thing that was actually about the person, depicting somebody who was passed in a fiction or in historic context or whatever the case, is totally fine for me. It is when you cast them as not themselves that you get this really weird energy from the situation,
Yeah.
Especially if it's something that is really far from what they you have no idea whether they'd be on board or not. And the just again the difference between any biopic about a celebrity or a historical figure, or even something like Bruce Lee showing up in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever, where it's like, okay, it's the person themselves, right? You're not doing this thing where you're like,
look,
you
I would
as
go
someone
see
else.
a Tupac Shakur stage play.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, there's no problem there. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get into ghost puppet territory, it starts to feel a little weird. I even feel like holographic concerts are a little everyone was weirded out by that at the time. Everyone was weirded out by that at the time. And I think okay, let's say there was a new Gorillaz track featuring
Tupac, right? Using an old recording of some kind, and they went through like the people and did everything, and they animated it, and it was all there and stuff. That would be like a little bit like, okay, you know, a little bit odd to it, but ultimately you'd be like, nah, sure, fine. Like just because at the end of the day, it's the person themselves as you're attempting to.
And like if you're keeping it in that sphere, like if two hip hop artists had a disagreement and one of them used AI Tupac to settle the arguments, that would also be fine.
That would also be fine.
Noticing my support among our black listeners plummeting.
Whoa, what's happening? Oh my god. Oh man. Yeah. No, but 3 albums though. But Crody, have you heard Crody? Man. Anyways. Yeah. It's just so bizarre because you take all of that and then you go, what else is happening with this Tupac Shakur features in the next Like a Dragon game that has been announced by Snoop Dogg, who has never been somebody that has been known for his integrity. But I think a lot of people, we all gave Snoop Dogg a lot of leeway for a long time, and I think I'm cool with calling that over now. Just pulling it in a little bit.
Yeah.
No, but like the thing that they said too is like this character he'll be playing, Amaru, which is his middle name, is going to be like almost a what if he continued to live and from the future would have like reflections on his life, and it's just this weird thing of like, and now you're also doing something where you're going to be like pretending to be him from beyond the grave, reflecting on his choices and what if he survived, and it's getting so insane, and you're like, where's the Kiryu with the guitar strum side quest clown shoes music happening? Can we just can we get back to that, because that shit was really fun?
Yeah, I mean, like I think it was Jan Ochoa from Giant Bomb just tweeted that quote out you did about the reflecting on his life or who he would have become, and he just said, it's not your story to tell. And I think that's kind of what that is. It's like, yeah, this feels wrong, dudes.
I think this is just the karmic balance, because RGG realized that the new footage they released of Virtua Fighter 6 was so sick that they had to do something to like bring the energy down a little bit. They couldn't just leave it where it was. So you had to go, hey, look, Virtua Fighter looks really awesome now. So we need everyone to feel really weird about the next Yakuza game.
Yeah, goddamn, Virtua Fighter looks great, though.
It looks very good.
Yeah. Have you spent much time with Virtua Fighter, Woolie?
I mean, in the sense that I'm like a fighting game person for years, like I've spent a good amount of time on Virtua Fighter. But in terms of like, am I good enough to be competitive at it or enter a bracket? Absolutely not.
Oh, I mean, I have spent, I would say, 100+ hours with some entries of Virtua Fighter. I doubt I'm even close to that.
I mean, this is the definitive, like, bland fight simulator, but that's why it's awesome. How do you like that little sequence in the Crossroads trailer where the new main character is walking by the wall and just seeing all the different legends of the past in graffiti form?
It's sick. It's really... I like everything about it, and like there is I think something I love about fighting games is like at their roots there is this connection to like hip-hop and street fashion and all that kind of stuff. Like one of my favorite things about Alpha 3 and Third Strike is how they kind of blend that culture with martial arts and fighting, and there's so much there, and this really feels like one of those.
Yeah, I mean, parts of Alpha 3 feel almost like 80s or 70s in its UI and presentation, but like absolutely Third Strike, the deliberate choice to come in and make that as street as possible. Street is in the goddamn
Well, I
name,
guess say with Alpha, think of Chun-Li with her trainers.
Right.
Right. Think of Sakura like the schoolgirl, but also wearing fighting gear. Like it's that kind of vibe that I love.
No, absolutely. Yeah, I that has been definitive, I think. And like, I think the more that they embraced that was such a part of the identity that everyone loved, especially after Third Strike, that they kind of just like, with Street Fighter 4, they kind of like went away from it. They just went into the ink flow brush stuff. But then I think after that, they kind of realized, yo, no, wait, like we got to bring that energy back. People really fucking loved it. Cody track, Cody's music went so hard that everyone was like, this needs to be what Street Fighter sounds like, you know?
For sure.
Hell yeah. And I mean, speaking of which, you know.
Oh. So like, I've been spending a lot of time with Alex, and I would say that Yasmine is making me think of giving up my Shelby Villian ways.
So I just like, okay, so Ingrid came, and that was not always my favorite character, but with her comes the open door. And with the open door comes the possibility for all kinds of insane guest characters. The rumors have been floating around for a while, but Tifa is confirmed to come into Street Fighter, which is
How
pretty
are you feeling
nuts.
about Tifa?
I think that's a pretty insane, that's a pretty big deal. That's a pretty good pull. It was rumored that she was coming to Tekken for a long time now, and I think they were actually in talks to do it that way. But it seems like Tekken's in a rough state right now, and it seems like the momentum and the creative team are leaving over there, and multiple directors have left Tekken.
So I saw Harada left, all right.
And then the second director left as well. Yeah.
So that I did not get.
Yeah, so now there's one person there, and then Michael Murray who remain. But overall, things are in a bit of a rough shape. But they did announce Yujiro, which is an insane pull.
Pretty fun. Fun.
That's a fun pick. But my only thing is that, like, that same month, I just played a indie fighting game called Two Strikes, which is basically like a really simple, low budget but fun fighter where it's like Bushido Blade style, you know. And that game features Hanma Baki and Musashi from Bakido as guest characters, which is a wild pull. But also kind of tells me that it's not too expensive to get grappler Baki guest characters in your game.
No, I would say
pretty affordable.
No.
Tifa, you've got to wine and dine for Tifa. You have to work on that for years, right?
Several expensive escorts were hired on the back of Tifa being in that game.
Baki's cheap, and Yujiro will show up anywhere for anybody. So all this to say that I think they looked at how well Street Fighter is performing too, and kind of went like, this game is doing amazingly well in Japan, especially. It's undergoing a resurgence. The biggest numbers, it's Ingrid dropped, and it had a huge popularity spike.
I'm not like an Ingrid person, and like she's not my style of gameplay at all.
Nope.
But I also look at what they did to that character, and I'm like, you guys did it again.
You fixed it.
This is a really fucking cool interpretation of this character. I'm never going to main her. I'm going to do one cycle through of her command list and put her down. But she's awesome.
All I ever want is that if you design a character for something like this, just commit to the bit and go all the way with it with conviction, right? If I
have you seen her
fast, I check out. You know.
Have you seen her perfect victory pose?
That's all, folks.
So it's not even it's if she beats you in a round and she perfects you, her little like floating ghost friend comes along and she goes, "Yeah, I'm the best," and she's like punching it, and then she uppercuts it, but she actually hits it, and it gets annoyed and starts attacking her, and she runs off. And it's like so cute.
She gets that one. She gets the one I mentioned, which is the "That's all, folks" closing window.
So sick, right? So sick.
Have you seen the continue screen for her? When you lose,
yes, I did actually.
She's breaking the fourth wall, telling you, the player, to press start. You should probably continue.
She's like hitting a little pose every time, like a different pose for like 8, 9. Yeah, and it's like, this is a game made by lunatics who love this shit because that's the only reason they do it.
Right. So she's like, and I never wanted Street Fighter to have a god, you know, beyond the barrier or whatever.
It's Street Fighter. It's street level. This is not the place for Goku.
But if you're committing to it, then fine. We roll with it. And with her and her big portals and her doors in reality come the idea of Tifa falling through a live stream into our world. But cooler than that, the newcomers and Bosch, who from the moment I saw him in World Tour mode, I said, like, that's a sick design that needs to be a playable character in the full roster. You know? I'm so glad they did that.
I have a feeling something is coming with Bosch. Because, like, right now, I kind of feel like even, like, I like him in World Tour. He's kind of the Vegeta of your quest, would you say? And, like, that's cool. But I feel like something's coming. I feel like they're going to do that thing that they always do in 6, where they take a character's attributes and turn them up to 20. And I want to see what that looks like for him.
I mean,
but
the move list is probably going to be, you're going to see a couple of the things he did in World Tour, but they're going to do something way more interesting, I'm sure, for like with it. I'm also guessing that John World Tour will probably be the last DLC character to be in this game. That will be a really fun way of playing random select, perhaps. You know, the main character guy just emulating everybody's style or something to that effect. You know, maybe a Mokujin thing, or every time you press a button, he does a different character's button. You know, I don't know, but it'd be really fun to see that.
I think I'm not super hyped for Tifa because I feel like, say in Final Fantasy, what's Tifa's fighting style? It's martial arts. So in a world where people are using guns and swords and staffs and pinwheels, Tifa's fighting with her fists, and that's fucking awesome. You drop her into Street Fighter, and it's like, what's your fighting style? It's martial arts. And I'm kind of like, okay. And like, yeah, she can pull out all like the kind of classic Tifa moves and stuff, but I don't know. I think personally, I'm just... It's what I've said every time. I would much rather see an original character than a guest character. I understand why guest characters happen. I get the logistics behind it. But I feel like the short-term gain of guest characters always costs the long-term cultural benefit of an original character.
I do agree with that as somebody who has fought and like been crucified over my takes with desiring original characters more often than not. I will say that in the case of Tifa and in the case of like these big like guests, you know, once the barrier is broken, like Street Fighter had this kind of integrity line, or so to speak, that was, you know, it shifted once Terry Bogard and Mai showed up. The director Nakayama did an interview recently where he talked about guests in the Street Fighter world, and he said any guests that show up here, they need to be characters whose identities are fighters first and foremost. We will never have somebody who is not primarily a fighter in identity. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah.
You can't just pull Ezio because Ezio's around.
Okay,
you know?
Yeah. We get fucking Ezio, I'm gone. Like, no, I don't want that. But like even with Terry and Mike, you know, you have the link to, you know, Capcom vs SNK2, one of the greatest fighting games of all time. That creaks open the door, so maybe I can start believing in a Capcom vs SNK3 again one day.
Okay.
So like, you know, I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Terry got on a bus and took that bus from Southtown to Metro City, right? Whereas Tifa's falling through a portal.
And you know, look, we've talked about this before, but seeing Terry's hat floating in the intro and him catch it and put it on because you knew who threw that hat. That's it. That's it. But that said, the people I am most excited about are Arjun and Yasmin.
I'm so just... Arjun, I can't wait to see what they got going on. A new disciple of Dalsim that's probably going to be very different, minus the Yoga Fire setups he'll have, but he looks like a big buff guy.
He looks like a big heavy man. That's my second favorite fighting game archetype.
Yasmine.
Aggressive girl, my first favorite fighting game archetype.
I just, like, I just need to just underline here how the fucking reception to original characters and just the fact that it's like, it's not Vega, it's not what I wanted, it's not what I recognized. And I'm like, the characters you are begging to see return, you have to give the people who made the ones you love a chance to make the ones you will ask for again, right? Like, just not being aware of like look how hard people want Makoto, right? Look how hard people want these characters or Sean to come back and stuff.
I will say that probably no one wants Makoto more than these two people on this call. Both Makoto mains. The 1/3 strike match we had was a Makoto mirror match.
She's the best. But like there's something about just you have to understand that the same people that made the things you love can make also other things, right? And like,
guys, listen, I get it. We all want Ormika so badly that sometimes we cry a little at night. We have to give Yasmine a chance.
I think it's unfortunately like it's just a nature of like I fear the unknown. I don't know what it is, so I don't like it until you show me that I should. Right? So if you announce the character and show me some art, but you don't show me a trailer immediately, I cannot put my brain at ease in imagining that I might like them. All I feel is I don't know who that is and I don't care, they're nobodies, but I know who Vega is and I'm mad that he's not here. And it's a really, really like myopic, wild like way to see things. But when you see the trailer come out and then now she's like, yeah, isn't she awesome? And everyone is like, holy fuck, they cooked. Like, you just I
haven't seen a response to original fighting game character like this in a long time, because I feel like so many of the Tekken 8 new characters have been kind of whiffs. Like, I'm sure they get popular in Tekken. I don't see them penetrate outside that bubble. I have seen so much Yasmine fan art.
Yeah, like Fakum Ram is just a weird backy character, like more than anything.
Yeah. I like him. I think he's cool, but yeah, like I don't really know how people are meant to get like super excited for him or anything.
And every detail about Yasmine, where you're just getting this whole bit where you're like, one, Filipino representation. That's awesome, right? That's a rare thing. Two, main character energy. She's the main character of the season, and they said they design all these original new characters with some main character energy as well. And like the fact that you have her working with the, you know, the cool like almost like Mega Man X returning blade, the mix-ups, her fighting style is lots of quick slashes and dashes. She looks amazing. And then her attitude...
On the note of her knife, I don't like playing fighting games with like weapon characters, just not my thing. And so when I saw in the trailer she was carrying a knife, I missed that in her concept art, and I was so disappointed. By the end of the trailer, I was back around to not being disappointed.
It's so sick, right? And then this whole thing with her personality, where she's not just like she's not just like young aggro Makoto replacement. She's actually a very introverted, shy, quiet person. But when she's fighting, she gets confident, and her hair spikes out in a way that resembles the Philippine eagle.
So cool. So fucking cool.
Man, what an awesome character right away. Hell yeah.
I just want to like run down the original characters for Street Fighter 6, because they are fucking crazy. So you have arguably Luke, who was in 5, and you have Jamie, and I think they're fine. They're okay.
Excellent. I love new Luke, and I love the glow up, and I think they nailed it with his attitude and making him a way better, funner character to carry the torch in Street Fighter 6. And Jamie, I love Jamie as a rival. I love his energy. I love he shows up going, the top player is here. You know, in my world, we're all feeling it. I love Jamie.
They're both good. They're both good. I think, though, that they both do pale when you put them next to Kimberly, Manon, and Marisa.
Yeah, those are perfect, just new additions. Every new character in 6 has been a slam dunk, has been what I'm been saying, right?
So then you get JP, who I personally love, hate fighting him, hate playing as him, but love the character.
As an original character... He's someone who's like, he hates fighting and just wants to zone you out because he's like, I hate this, get away from me. And he's too above it. That's a perfect fucking archetype.
Then you get fucking Aki, and I adore Aki. I tried to play as her for a couple of months. She is too big brain for me. But as a character, as like a weird fucking thing, she is amazing.
As a replacement for Fong as well, at that, you know, like just a straight upgrade right across. And Lily, who I love Lily, my only complaint is her third costume haircut should be the default. Her third costume has like the hat, and then it has like her hair kind of with bangs, and then it going back a little bit. And I think that looks way better on her as a default design than the default they gave her.
This looks way better.
Yep.
Way better.
That's my only bit.
I'm not crazy about her like poncho thing. So yeah, I just feel like the character doesn't have like a great silhouette or something. But yeah, no, this is sick. But even then, I think Lily is a ton of fun, and I also see like what she has meant to the community.
Mm-hmm. It's across the board. All the original characters they made in Street Fighter 6, people will be asking for in Street Fighter 7, right?
Yeah.
They did it. So now that you get that opportunity again, you know, the idea of like kicking it off the plate when you don't even know how much you're going to be asking for it in the future is just, it's like, have an ounce of foresight. Come on, you know?
Yeah. And like what they've done with the returning characters as well. Like I spent a good 2 to 3 hours today grinding out Alex, and just saying, 16 wins in a row, 16 win streak, everybody.
Not bad. Not bad.
Just Fox, I'm gonna send you the image. Feel free to put the image on screen, buddy. But yeah.
There you go. Hit that ranked and get all the way on up there. I want to see those. I want to see that rank climb. Let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna be real with you, Woolie. I don't know that I can climb much higher than platinum. I'll try. I'll do my best.
I believe in you. I know that you can do it. I have fought you in other games. You have absolutely what it takes.
That means more than I care to admit. Moving on.
And I say this to you as the recent winner of the SAJAM Slam.
Oh, shit. I did not hear that. You won the SAJAM Slam?
Took it home, baby. Took it home. Specs in 5. My team.
That's so fucking cool.
So I got lucky to participate in the SAJAM Slam, and shout outs to him, because just what a great event for 2XKO. They put the teams together, and they basically got me to join Team Diaphone. Diaphone is just one of the greats. He's an amazing tournament player who just crushes it. And he was the coach alongside Zane, who is like one of the top 3 on the leaderboards as well, like an unbelievable player. So the 2 coaches were then in charge of myself, Zyzix, Frodan, and Deathy. And the 4 of us were just like, all right, coaches, show us what to do. And yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable. The performance, especially from Deathy, Frodan, and Zyzix, like they went on a tear. They had like undefeated days in the slam, where we basically all got a chance to pair up with each other and cycle through partners so that we play 2v2s with different people.
So cool.
Real fun format. Play with the coach someday, play with, rotate between different partners each day. And then on the final day, you take your one partner and you lock in the whole time. So me and Zyzix, aka Gary, that's an instant homie. Just like so much fun. We crushed it day 1, crushed it day 2, and then fucking went undefeated on day 3 and just fucking took that shit home,
Hell yeah, dude. That's awesome.
Unfortunately, did not get a dramatic battle with Pat in the grand finals, but
that would have been good, man.
But regardless, I am more than happy to say, yo, the Spectres fucking took it. Specs in 5, baby, all day. Yeah,
hell yeah. No, that's awesome. Woolie, I've been watching some horror movies.
What's going on?
I have seen Obsession and The Backrooms.
I've heard so much. I mean, obviously the Backrooms is directly relevant to us, but like everyone's been going, go see Obsession, 10 on 10. It's just fucking amazing. It's just perfect. Just go see it. Don't even look up what it's about. Just go.
I really mean this. I think there is a chance Obsession is the most recommended movie I have ever gotten. People just being like, John, you got to see Obsession. You got to see Obsession over and over and over. I've gotten so many people being like, go see Obsession. And so I will say, Woolie, there is a category of horror movie that I like and I'm very reluctant to recommend to people, and these movies are what I call day ruiners. They are the kinds of movies that are so unpleasant to watch that it's difficult to really ever recommend them to anyone unless you know someone who's really, really into horror movies. And I would say Obsession is about as close as you could get to a day ruiner without crossing that line.
Interesting. Okay.
And this is one of the things that really surprised me about it, because I was like, is this just gonna... I feel like I'm just walking into a well-paced horror movie for normies, is kind of what I thought this would be. That is not what this is. This is a fucking crazy movie.
Okay, question. Would you consider, say, Midsommar and Hereditary day ruiners?
Not really.
Not really. Okay. I haven't seen those. I just know everyone's talking about them forever.
I'd say they're definitely on the more intense end of the spectrum. But they're not day ruiners. Day ruiners are funny games. Day ruiners are Kill List. Day ruiners are other films I'm blanking on.
Okay. And because there's just something I just realized that's inherent, and it's not just in me, but it's also in Punch Mom as well, where it's like, as soon as someone says, like, you have to go see this really good movie and they highly recommend it, and I realize especially, like, the circles of friends and audience and such that I have, and that overlaps a lot, when I have to clarify and go, what genre is the thing you're recommending? And if they say horror, I'll go, okay. Because we're almost never in the mood to watch a horror movie. And it's not that I don't like them, because I will appreciate them. A lot of the time, I'm not into the horror aspect more than I am into, like, a secondary category of it. Like, I love the weirdness and the social, cultural aspects of things like, Get Out, right? I love The Substance. I love Alien. All these things are interesting beyond just the genre of horror, and because
I would say Obsession is that.
On. Yeah, okay.
Because I think Obsession has a lot to say socially about relationships, about what you expect from another person.
Cool.
And it is at times like a very brutal movie, and I'm not really going to spoil anything here. But what I would say is that it has a real empathy for its characters, or specifically the character. Like, do you know the basic premise of this movie?
I don't know anything about it at all, but people talk about it the way they talk about mouthwashing.
Yeah, I don't see it. So I'm always a little bit like, when people say don't learn anything, don't, like, just I'm always a bit like, I think it's okay to learn to know the premise of something.
Okay.
Because like the premise of this movie, the premise is actually the part that kind of unsold me on the movie, and it's what they did with that premise that actually I loved.
Okay.
So the premise is basically a guy is in love with a girl. He makes a wish for her to fall in love with him, and she becomes obsessed. And the way she begins expressing that love, it gets uncomfortable around 10 minutes in, and it keeps going.
Okay.
But what I think I loved about the movie is it really toys with the idea of who's the victim here. And there's a lot of good shit it does with that. And like by the end of the movie, like I was like, the credits came on, and I did let out a looked over at the friend I'd taken to see it. She was in tears.
Okay.
She was like, that is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. And then she looks at me and she goes, that's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Okay.
And this is not a movie that is like playing with horror tropes and doing interesting things there. This is a movie that has shit to say and is good, like a Get Out or like something like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah. No, that definitely sounds a lot more interesting. I do realize I'm someone that appreciates I appreciate things the most when I'm like as cold as possible, but I know that like just from everything I've been hearing, yeah, the like sort of drawing the distinction between that what I just mentioned and what you just said versus something that's like good but still ultimately is about like the monster or the scary thing and the wipeouts a little bit, something like Weapons, for example, where it's like, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought there was some fun stuff there, but not usually my cup of tea. Not the thing I'm going to go out of my way to see because like just I'm almost never in the mood for it, Like I don't go like I want to go get scared tonight. Like I just
Weapons to me was a silly roller coaster ride, and I really liked it. But it was a silly roller coaster ride. It's not what this is.
And I know that a lot of folks are like looking for that in the same way that every October the shitstorm, crew are around for that stuff. So I'm kind of like
I watched Weapons like you play a like innovative new fighting game, and they're like, oh, you can do that.
Right.
That's me watching Weapons.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, interesting. I like what we did with this.
I know this genre inside out, and you're playing with this particular aspect of it. That's fun.
I have never seen an overhead work like that.
Exactly, and I'm just like, I'm just like, you gotta do something way out of left field for me to feel like watching this.
Yes, for sure.
Cool.
Also saw the Backrooms, and I have videos on regular Eyepatch Wolf, Backrooms, and I think it should be out by now, Obsession, if people want to go check out like full thoughts there. But really liked Backrooms. What I will say, Backrooms is maybe the most John-ass film that has come out in a while. This is a film about liminal space and being trapped in repeating, increasingly fucked up memories. That's my playbook. That's where I am all the time. And I love the sound design. I love the cinematography. I think the film has some really, really interesting things to say about like memory. I would definitely recommend it to you less, Woolie, than Obsession, just because I don't think you will enjoy it as much. But it's also something I'd say it's interesting enough to stick on if it's ever convenient for you to stick on. And like, I think there is a very normal film they could have made out of the Backrooms. I think at some point someone could have uttered the phrase, "We have to destroy the core." That is not the movie they made. Okay. The movie they made is so much weirder than that, and I respect the fuck out of them for that reason.
We spent a long time in that episode discussing the difference between liminal spaces as an interest versus the Backrooms internet subculture, and where does the slider fall on the two, because one of them is the big monster is chasing you in the forever hallway, and the other is the hallway itself feels weird to be in.
That's a really, really good question, and I think what I appreciate this movie, it kind of finds a center point. It thematically links those two things in a way that I was not expecting and honestly have never thought about. Like, when I started to realize what this film was saying the Backrooms is and what it can do, it's very specific. And I was like, oh my god, that is such a fascinating way to look at the Backrooms and liminal space.
Okay.
It linked so like the thing you just said, Woolie, like the problem is I feel like those two concepts, they're pretty separate, right? Mm-hmm. This film linked them in a way that I genuinely kind of loved.
Cool. Good.
Yeah. So yeah,
because I definitely find the more subtle version of that more. We talked about it. We did it, but I'm surprised to hear that. That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Side note, I guess, just something that is some old homework here, but I decided to go check out one Elfen Lied video essay by Hazel.
Really?
And I watched that. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why. I just remembered that was something that came up.
How did this?
I don't remember.
It's been like at least a solid year since I even mentioned that.
You brought it up. Yeah, you've brought it up twice or so, and something brought up Elfen Lied recently, and maybe it was the song or it was something, and I went, oh yeah. John mentioned there was a really good video essay worth checking out. So I went and I checked it out and I watched it. And that is a great video essay. And the personal story being told in it by Hazel about like what that meant growing up with it and watching it and everything there and being at this young age where like anything that was subverting expectations and being edgy was just automatically something you were drawn towards. I found that really, like, the personal story is great here. This is something really cool. Mm-hmm. And it does not in any way, shape, or form make Elfen Lied quality or better or nothing. That show is still as dog shit hateable as I thought it was in the beginning and in the end. I have changed nothing about my opinion on it, but I super duper love the telling of the story of what that meant, for a particular type of teenager on the internet at that time experiencing it. Like,
yeah, and I think what I love about it is it's not the real easy video essay where it's like, here's what you missed about Elfen Lied because you're too fucking stupid.
Right.
It's like not pretending there's more here that needs to be. It's just a very personal recounting of what it meant when she was in this place.
And I think her kind of conclusion, which was also kind of like, give yourself a little grace if you found this cool as a dumb kid, right? Like, and I get that. It's not me. It's not my take. It's not the conclusion I was drawn. I drew when I saw it, and I really, and especially revisiting like how bad some of the content in that is and everything it does, I was almost like reminded of more things that I was upset by at the time, that I forgot about in that show, right?
Yes.
So the work itself and finding out that the manga is even worse were kind of just it was this amazing journey overall. But separating that fucking horrendous piece of dog shit anime from the personal story someone told about getting into it, I love that aspect. I love the essay, so that is super cool. And I'm happy to watch something like that where like I said, it's like it's someone's personal story about their experience and not here's how I correct your take, or here's top 10 things you didn't know, all of that is just like way less interesting if that's what the tone was going to be.
Yeah. And I would also say to people, if I think that video is demonetized because of all the fucked up shit in it, so the only way you're going to find it is to actively search out that specific video with the specific title or go to Hazel's channel. You're not going to be served it up by the algorithm because it doesn't want it being on YouTube. So check it out and check out Hazel's other shit. Like, I mean, if I have a spare hour and I want to do some drawing and stick on a video essay, Hazel is one of those channels where I know I can click on any video and she's going to have done a great job. And she actually put out a horror film of her own recently as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Shout out to Hazel.
Yeah, no, I never thought, never thought I'd get this kind of like walking away going, that's a really fascinating story. And also now I have even more reasons to loathe this fucking thing.
Oh, very true. But let me tell you about something we don't loathe here, Woolie. And that's Lancer.
Yeah. Episode 2.
It's here. Lancer 2, The Reckoning, the return of Apollo Showdown, and Trev.
Hey,
Hey. We recorded. It's out now on the Patreon for everyone. We're gonna have a little tiny preview at the end of this episode. We're gonna leave a little 10 minute just to wet your whistle. This is one of my favorite episodes of anything we've ever done. This was fucking crazy, and the battle in this one is wild and hilarious.
Shout outs to Tom for making the world of Lancer and then DMing this session for us. Shout outs to Murph for doing like this really cool job with the edit, and for Sir Meow with the soundscaping. We got this really fun tabletop session going, and I know it's been a long time coming for those who've been waiting since the first one, but I think it lives up to some of those expectations. I hope so. I really fucking thought that session started and ended on some fucking bangers. There's some great moments, man.
Yeah, no, it was genuinely just like, I don't know. I think, you know, Woolie, I went back recently and I watched the first episode of the Mystical Ninja playthrough.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which is the first time that we ever made any content together, which I don't even want to think about how long ago that was. It feels like a long time. And I was curious because I was like, okay, when does the dynamic kick in? Nearly immediately. I don't know what happened, but it was just like straight away it was that kind of thing. And I think, you know, I love doing this podcast for that dynamic, but getting to, I don't know, shoot that dynamic through fictional characters in a crazy fucking mech piloting universe, god damn, it is so fun.
Hell yeah. I mean, I've wanted any excuse to check this thing out, and like we have the best possible one going. I'm also increasing the wardrobe and getting accessories going too, and just like it's getting big, you know.
Yeah, and like again, shout outs to Tom. Every time we do anything Lancer related, I always love the kind of influx of comments that are like, how did these chuckle fucks get a baden?
Yeah. Just by trying, I guess. Just reaching out and offering some sumo discussion. A little bit of just, you know, just holding out that.
Oh, fuck, Woolie. Can I talk to you about the most recent basho?
What's happening?
So, okay, a lot is happening, but the beautiful thing about sumo is that sometimes... So the way a basho works, 15 days in a row, bunch of sumo enter. It's not quite everyone fights everyone, I don't think, but it's the sumo getting paired off. The sumo with the most wins at the end is the champion. I want to tell you about Tamawashi, the Iron Man.
Okay.
Tamawashi is known as the Iron Man of sumo. He is 41. He is old. But the reason he's called the Iron Man is he has never missed a sumo date. In his like 20-year career, he has never he has never sat out because of an injury. He has never had a sick day. Everyone loves the Iron Man. He's a lovely, nice man. And he comes out, loses his first match, loses his second match, loses his third match, loses his fourth match. And by the time you lose your fourth match, that's like you are completely out of contention here. Like you are not winning this sumo tournament. Loses his fifth match, losing his sixth match. And at this point, people are like, I think it's time to retire. And dude, it was so sad. It was so tragic watching, like, you know, this old legend. And like, there's such a... but the thing that started happening is that people started getting really behind him because they're like, no, like, you gotta win one. Wow. Loses 7, loses 8, loses 9.
How many fights are there? How many matches are there in a tournament?
15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. On the 10th day, he fucking does it. And he picks up a W. He does not do well. the roar of the crowd when he got that one win back. And it was so cool because his 9th loss was against this guy called Shishi, who's this Ukrainian guy. And Shishi didn't even try. He stepped out of the way. Tamawashi went forward and down. And it was like, it wasn't disrespectful necessarily. It was a sad way to see him go out. And then to see him come back on that 10th day. Dude, Sumo is legit.
Who's that Umamusume who keeps losing?
I don't fucking care.
Do you know what I'm talking? Oh, okay. There's one of those characters that keeps losing, and because the real life horse always lost all of her races, and so everyone was like a big fan. I know
who you're talking about because she came up on screen during my Umamusume session, and I was like, no! And everyone got very angry.
Okay. Yeah, anyway, whatever. Just the energy of getting behind the person who keeps losing. It feel like I'm reminded almost of that in your description, you know?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I know that Reggie linked because there was like also an outdoor like women's sumo league that was happening. And I was like, wait, that's a thing? And apparently, yeah, some of these sumo English translation channels have been showing like a tournament with like women's sumo happening in an outdoor kind of stadium, not stadium, but park kind of.
Is this Japan?
Yeah, it's women's sumo in Japan.
Because
and like
one of the few things I have not loved about sumo is that women are not pure enough to enter the
ring.
There's some
traditional bullshit there. Okay,
some traditional bullshit. Yeah.
Well,
but anyway, I will check that out.
I can confirm that I saw a women's league happening and a tournament underway. That does in fact exist, but it was not inside the same setting.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Woolie, if someone wanted to access not only Lancer, but our side podcast, the Intermission Lounge, how might one do that?
Patreon.com/VersusWolvesPodcast is the place to be, where you can go check out, the Intermission Lounge, where we just take your questions, answer, open up a whole lot of personal stuff sometimes.
It kind of has become what that place is, isn't it?
Yep.
It's like, hey, here's some damage. Here's some shit.
Because we take a couple questions about like some fun games or some fun movies and media, and then inevitably you go, all right, let's shake things up. Let's dig up some childhood trauma. Let's flop it out of the coffin. And
flop it out of the coffin. Yes, that is what happens.
But and then we get that, but also of course, like we just described, we've got Versus Wolves Lancer over there as well. So fun stuff happening. It's a place where we take questions.
You could even get your own question answered, and it might sound a little something like this. Got one here from Confident Artist. Hello, video essayist and video game journalist. I really like John's rating system to the point where I myself have started rating media in the same metric. But with something like Jet Set Radio, for example, it gets complicated since that is a 3-star game with a 7-star art style and soundtrack due to its impact on my life. What are some pieces of media you both like that have severe conflicting qualities about it? Thanks for all you do. So a game with like really awesome things about it and really not awesome things about it.
Okay. One that I have roasted over the years. There's two that come to mind that I've roasted over the years. And in each of these cases, I know why I've gotten so much pushback on them. Because it's the exact same thing. The game Evil Zone for the PlayStation is a fighting game that is so cool because it features a cast of characters that all come from different anime genres, and they look like the perfect archetypes of that in a really cool art style. And when you play the arcade mode, you get to go through every episode of their season as if they were as if you were watching a show. So Dan Zyver is the Sentai action hero, and every week he fights a monster or one of the other characters, and there's a narrator going through it as if you were watching a Saturday morning cartoon show or a weekly Sentai show. And every character with their genre has that type of love and cool stuff going on. And as a mashup fighter, as a concept and style, that's incredible. The problem is that the game itself is a 2-button fighting game and features zero comprehensive gameplay from anybody that understands how fighting games should work or why. So as a result, it's complete trash if you have any idea what the genre ought to play like. But if you just want to mash buttons and look at the cool thing, it's awesome for that. And yeah. I hate
what a great aesthetic, like 90s anime, spiky hair out the yin yang. It's got like a fucking sick anime intro screen.
Yep. And I remember that was the first time I hit a wall where this, amongst me and my friends, was like, we were considered, this is one of the worst playing fucking fighters ever. But it had the cool thing to look at, and so many people were like, yeah, but I don't care about how it feels. I just want to look at it. And I was like, oh, I care a lot about how it feels, right? So that was the issue there. A little bit of that happens with Guys as well, the fighting game with Cloud and FF7 characters in it that also plays terribly and such. But then the time that I remember hitting this wall again massively was when JoJo All-Star Battle came out.
JoJo wow. Game, yeah.
Right? Same problem. This game stylishly gorgeous, great voice acting, pays so much loving homage to every single part of JoJo at the time. And if you're a fan of JoJo, there's just so much there for you to appreciate, to look at, to do all the combos with the characters and see their special moves referencing moments from the best parts of the show and from the best parts of the manga. And if you play fighting games, it feels like dog shit. And there was just no way to get past that. Like, I'm sorry. It sucks that, like, I'm looking for more out of the gameplay here that if you don't care about it, you're not going to notice or give a fuck. But it felt really bad to play. And I really was like, this is disappointing because I wish it looked this good, sounded this good, but also was fun, you know? And the every time that moment happens where, like, people are on board with looking at the toys, but like the gameplay part of it is where you disconnect from them. Like, I feel like there's a big backlash that I hit on that, and I'm like, I can explain why I think this feels poor or whatever, but it doesn't matter if you're at the end of the day you're like, yeah, I don't play these games for that reason. We're two different audiences, but coming at the same product,
I never get that, because like that's fine, but like no one can pretend that this game plays well.
But like you actually can, because if your plan is to mash the square button until it says KO and then occasionally press the super button, then yeah, there's nothing to think about. It's just the shiny JoJo.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to and that's fine. It's just the problem is, like, if you're going to go through all the effort of making this kind of game and putting all the work and money and time into it, like, you can get people on that staff that like can be like, let's tweak some of this gameplay to like have a system that makes sense, that isn't just broken and busted and silly, you know? And unfortunately, both of those games are just these cases of like, I love everything about it except every moment of how it feels to play it.
Yeah.
That bums me out.
Okay, I mean, like, there's a ton for me, obviously. Like, you know, Deadly Premonition is like a perfect game trapped in a terrible game, you know? And like, there's different stuff like that. In terms of fighting games, I have one, and I've come around to this recently, and I know people are going to come for me on this, and I'm not saying it's a bad game, I'm just saying I don't enjoy how it feels, and I also accept maybe if I spent more time with this game, I would come to appreciate it gameplay-wise. But there's a game that has maybe the best character design work Capcom have ever done, and so many times I have tried getting into it and I can't, and it's Rival Schools.
Fuck!
Woolie, am I wrong? Am I like you can tell me if I'm insane. Tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh man. Oh, that hurts. It's look, okay, you're kind of on point. You're not completely wrong. The thing is, Rival Schools has some of the best character designs that Capcom has ever done. You're completely correct. The problem is that the gameplay is way shallower than the average Street Fighter game or Darkstalkers game or even Marvel versus Capcom game. Like anything else that Capcom does, Rival Schools is amongst the most shallow feeling gameplay, unfortunately.
Yeah, and to me, like it's a depth thing a little bit, but to be honest with you, like I haven't played enough Rival Schools to even have that problem. The problem to me is I don't think it feels good to hit things in that game.
Okay.
Like in the same way you have that just really meaty Third Strike Street Fighter 2 Alpha, just that impact. Like the moment I can remember the first time I hit something in Alpha 3 and immediately fell in love with it. Like the screen stop, the big meaty sprites smashing into each other, the sound effects. And in Rival Schools, I just feel like I'm bonking stuff.
Interesting. I don't agree with that point because I love some of those impacts and the rhythm of some of those air combos of the bah, right? These moments that live rent free in my head are, you want to talk about impact. There's a super where Shoma, the baseball guy, winds up and hits you with the bat and like the dunk, and like you go flying, and that sound and that feeling are so like boom. I love that feeling, actually. I think that it has these great moments of that, but I think that the characters all end up feeling very similar to each other in how the combo structure works. It's very homogenized. And it represents Capcom's doing something a little more limited in structure, given, how much creativity they usually put into this stuff. And the aesthetics carry that series way more than the gameplay does. You are correct.
Whereas like with Darkstalkers, like I love the aesthetics of Darkstalkers. I've never gotten good at Darkstalkers. I love how that game feels, and I can tell the depth is there.
I didn't appreciate the way Darkstalkers felt until Bestaban, shoutouts, he came over and like sat me down and showed me how to play properly. Like I only got into that game as a gameplay thing way later. I was always just the weird freaky game that was too fast, and getting to appreciate that is something I developed later. But I see where you're coming from. I see where you're coming from on Rival Schools, because it's kind of true. It's kind of true.
It sucks, but like, that's if someone is asking me, hey, does Rival Schools rule? Oh yeah, absolutely. Rival Schools is fucking great. I don't love playing it, but I will buy every character art book they can put out. Yeah,
everybody who loves it kind of wants to just grab any character on that roster and press light, launch, jump, light, kick, fireball, super. Like everyone wants to do the same kind of thing. But it's really cool to see, like, oh, there's the football player, there's the boxing girl, there's the swimmer, and just all these different sports team.
The
archetypes.
Volleyball player, dude.
Yeah, Natsu, like it's just that's what's. And then Akira, the original quiet girl who has an alternate form with the helmet on where she gets aggressive. Yep, Yasmine before Yasmine a little bit, and showed up in Street Fighter too. But all this is just that's a good answer. That's fair.
Yeah. Cool. If you would like to head on over to our Patreon, it's patreon.com/Versus Wolves podcast. Listen,
thank you for the question.
Do yourself a favor. You've been working hard. You deserve it. Literally a fucking nuclear stockpile of intermission lounges for you to go listen to, and now 2 episodes of Lancer. It couldn't be a better deal.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of supporting the podcast, Woolie,
I'm excited.
We have our old friends.
I'm excited.
From Hobby Link Japan. Look, I'll be real, Woolie. we get a lot of sponsors, we take a lot of meetings, and they all say the same thing. We want to sponsor you guys, but you're a little too real for us, which always triggers the same reaction in me and Woolie. We always get real close to the camera, and we're like, ah!
That's what you get.
Yeah, and that will sometimes last upwards of 7 minutes until the person on the other end just kind of hangs up.
Yep, correct.
Hobby Link Japan, I knew we had found a mutual spirit in them when they went wah back at us, and it was like, yeah. Woolie, how would you describe to someone the joy that is Hobby Link Japan?
It's real simple. HLJ, Hobby Link Japan, is a site that I have spent a lot of time on the internet browsing, ordering things from over the years. So it's super sick that they love the show and are down to support us. And I believe the terminology here is they liked that we have our title of the most powerful book club, and they're on their own quest to become the most powerful sponsor of a book club, which is that strong moxie. I like the cut of the jib on that one.
Absolutely.
So, so yes, for this episode of Versus Wolves, Hobby Link's sacred duty as the self-ordained most powerful sponsor is to let you know that if you love action figures, statues, all that good merchandise and stuff, go to Hobby Link. It's where you can, as we've displayed many a cool thing from many a cool franchise over the years. And I'm not going to lie, I've been kind of waiting on this one a little bit because, can I just get real?
You can get real, Woolie.
It's time. Last time I saw something that spoke to my soul, and I had to do something about it. So I went over to Hobby Link Japan and I purchased Over Zero Backy. Do you remember Over Zero Backy?
I remember.
And I built it, and I put the cape on, and I sculpted the dreads, and I chose from the various add-ons, because there was a couple different colors, a couple different boxing gloves, a couple different power-ups, etc. A whole Nukes variation I could go with. And I settled on the Dreadhead Boxer Mecha in this pose.
It's metal Woolie.
It's the sickest thing I've ever seen.
It's amazing.
And I had options to put a drill on if I wanted that instead. But yes, the Over Zero Backy figure, which again you build with like all these great little details and stuff. I couldn't wait to fucking show this one off and show you how sick it was. Like, I almost brought it to Toronto. Like, I'm not gonna lie. But this is what I got recently from Hobby Link Japan, and it was a blast to sit there and just get the tools out and clip a little bit while watching some of the recent recommendations, for the show. And hey, Hobby Link is selling products from the best Japanese manufacturers, and they ship worldwide, offering 6 months of free warehouse storage and unlimited storage beyond that for a low cost, so you can ship stuff wherever you want.
Woolie, can I show off a recent Hobby Link Japan purchase?
Please.
So, Woolie, I have quite a few Nindroids. I like Nindroids. I think they're designed with care. I think each one feels like bespoke and cool and interesting. I recently purchased my favorite Nindroid I have ever gotten, and it's not close.
I have shit-talked things that are not Nendoroids for existing.
Oh, there is so much that is Nendroid adjacent that is garbage. Nendroids rule.
Incredible. Love them.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. Let's see it. I mean, there's a couple different characters that scratch the itch, but what are we looking at today?
It's the Juri Han Nendroid.
Juri! You want to talk about... Yeah! You want to talk about brand new original characters that are immediately beloved and everybody needs them in every future
Woolie,
entry.
Look at how
Perfection.
mad she is. Look at her salty little face.
It's little.
Look at how great she is.
It's not just, it's Juri-chan. It's like the little cartoon version of her from the comics that we've been seeing online. Right?
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. I love her so much, and she makes me so happy. There are 2 left on Hobby Link Japan. 2 left. Look at this.
This is the energy. This is the energy. This is the energy.
This is us. The podcast. This is us.
This is versuswolves.jpg. Oh my god.
We have to find a way to take a photo with these 2 together.
Yeah, I mean absolutely.
But yeah, like I actually just looked there, and there are 2 of her currently left on Hobby Link Japan. Guys, let's get rid of them. Let's deplete that supply. Let's go over and support a wonderful sponsor for the podcast. Thank you so much, Hobby Link Japan.
Almost every topic we've talked about has been like on this show has been something you can go over there and find some cool statues or merch for as well. So just for the mighty listeners of Versus Wolves, HobbyLink is offering 10% off anything available on their site by entering the special coupon code MOSTPOWERFUL10 at checkout. So the coupon code works once per customer, and it's valid until July 15th. So use it to place your first order at HobbyLink today and aid HobbyLink in their quest to become the most powerful sponsor. The plastic must flow. Wow. The coupon code, once again, is MOSTPOWERFUL10. Yeah, head on over to HobbyLink.
Is that
Japan.
10 with letters or 10 with numbers?
10 with digits.
Digits. Cool.
Yes. Most powerful 10. Thank you, HobbyLink
Okay.
Japan.
Thank you, HobbyLink. So, Woolie, I guess it's time to talk about Hunter x Hunter. Do you mind if I make a little adjustment here? Do you mind if I just get comfortable?
Please. I would love you to be as comfortable as possible as we go and still I rise, never to give up, never to give in, against all odds, yet still I rise. Standing energy, standing on business.
So, Wooly, we have quite a relationship with the fictional media property Hunter x Hunter, don't we?
We do. It goes all the way back to the beginnings of your notoriety.
So for those who are not aware, do you want to tell the story, Wooly?
We've told it many times. We've told it
Truncated.
many places.
Let's just give people the cliff notes.
I was recommended to watch the show Hunter x Hunter, I called it at the time, and by friends and such when I was in college. I used to give everything a 4-episode test, and then I was told after watching 4 episodes and not liking what I saw that I needed to give it more. So I gave it more episodes. I gave it more of a watch, and I still didn't like what I saw. And then I was told, no, trust me, it gets good. So I watched yet even more. And after the 3rd attempt, I completely just fucking was done. I hated it. I thought it was awful, and it sucked. And I talked about this on the old podcast I used to host, the Super Best Friend Cast. One day, one young John was listening to that podcast, and upon hearing this opinion, while holding his Gone figure, bubbled up inside and felt such rage at this opinion that he had nowhere to put it, so he decided to make a YouTube channel and make a video on it called Why You Should Watch Hunter x Hunter. And that was the first video John ever made on the internet in response to my opinions about this cartoon. The thing that we only discovered years later, and the problem, was that he was responding to and thinking about and talking about the 2011 version of the show, Hunter x Hunter, not the 1999 version of the show, Hunter x Hunter, which I had watched. So this was almost like me talking about Full Metal Alchemist while he was going, why you should watch Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. a silly mix-up, Wooly. A silly mix-up that changed the course of my life in dramatic and frightening fashion.
One simple clarifying detail would have made all the difference.
It would have made all the difference.
Who knows where you would have been?
You know, I think one of the moments that, you know, kind of we became friendly was when I told you this at that Screenwave party at MagFest 2017, I believe it was. 16, maybe?
I believe so. You're looking a little soft, John. You're looking a little soft.
I haven't been working out in a
I was gonna call you out on that bit, but yes, in there too. There you go. There you go. Sharp.
Cool.
We began to get friendly.
And particularly at this one Screenwave party, and I was kind of like, okay, I'm getting friendly with Wooly. I kind of got to tell him his place and everything. And that's when you informed me that you had not been talking about the 2011 version, but in fact the 1999 version. Correct. And you told me that, like, look, the 1999 version, it's a fucking trek. It is difficult, and they don't even explain what a hunter is. And this, I remember, was a big hang-up. Like, what is a hunter? And I had never seen the 1999 version, and I had seen, like, clips and parts of it. I was like, I don't know. I think, like, the kind of pacing here doesn't really work great. But, like, if the storytelling in it is so poor as to not even explain what a hunter is, I can completely understand how, like, trying to siphon what's cool about Hunter x Hunter through that world would have just been, like, an absolute pain in the ass. So, like, I get it.
Yeah. And I have to say, I was kind of shocked when we started this show to find out that, like, you know, it's something, well, I mean, it was something over the years we discussed back and forth, but I was kind of shocked that you had never gone through it, considering it's one of your favorite things.
I was very close to doing that. And then that actual conversation made me like, oh, maybe this isn't good, because I'd never really heard anyone to go to bat for it necessarily, and I was like, okay, well, like I don't need to watch this.
Yep.
And again, you know, if they're not going to even take the time to explain, like, the core conceit of the world, something is deeply broken about this fictional show, like, inarguably, right?
I love how we're underlining this point, because here comes the slam dunk. Now,
could you read this slide, please?
Now, the thing that I love is we all know that, like, when a show is really good, that, like, it's so well done, we all know that, like, 10 years later, they say, you know what, we should just do that again. Right? We all know that, like, you know, something like Brotherhood or, like, Hellsing.
Wooly, humor me here for a second. Humor me, my friend. Okay, just humor me. I have some screenshots
you don't have
here.
You don't have to. I have it right here. I have it in the notes, baby. What is a hunter?
No. Wooly, I would like you to read this series of screenshots. Here is the first one.
Yes, Gon asks, what is a hunter to kite? Yes, I have the same notes. And the reply, tell me about the world and about its mysteries and treasures. Go on, screenshot 2. I made the same notes.
Okay. Just give me one sec here.
Here, I'll beat you to the punch. The world is a place that has many mysteries and treasures, and a hunter is one who goes out and finds them.
What episode did that come from, Wooly?
Episode 1, John.
Episode 1!
Yes. Yes, that's correct. Yes. The world is a place with many mysteries and treasures, and a hunter is one who goes out and finds them. Yes.
Yes.
And that's satisfactory to you. That is an answer to you. You find that statement to be, oh, well, all of my answers now are together, and I know exactly what it is. This explains why this test is so elaborate, what the license is, why the whole situation that the characters find themselves in to become one of these things is equivalent to becoming a 007, right? This answer right here explains all of that. It's the same way a Pokemon master is a master of Pokemon, or a Shinigami is a Shinigami, or a ninja
I should be saying this to you.
Right?
I'm saying this to you.
It's so simple, yet this answer here encapsulates all of that. And there are no other questions I should have about what the fuck this thing actually is as I'm watching the show. Yeah, totally. This one extremely vague, nebulous sentence that says...
Episode 3. Description of a blacklist hunter.
Oh, correct. Yes, blacklist hunters and gourmet hunters. We learn about both of those. There are those who they look after, they go find bounties. Yep. Correct.
The reason one would need a hunter license is to pursue avenues otherwise illegal to them.
There appears to be a problem here. And
there's been a problem since the fucking first conversation we had, Woolie.
Okay. We can target this point and jump all the way to its conclusion, or we can go on the journey. Which do you prefer? Because I am happy to stick on this point and take it all the way to the end, or we can take the journey.
Woolie, okay, just if we could pause there for a moment.
Yeah, it's up to you. It's your book report segment.
One of the frustrating things about doing a podcast with you is that you have this habit of, I'm going to say, making moves in this podcast, and the entire fucking world seems oblivious to your malice motivation behind said moves, okay? And do you know what's hurtful about doing a podcast in that kind of scenario is I look crazy to people. I look crazy. And I think that I play a part in that. It's my fault because when you do it, I don't point it out. So I would like to now point out to our audience what is happening. Is that okay with you? Please. Is that all right with you?
Please.
Okay. Woolie was attempting to recommend the 1999 version of Hunter x Hunter because what he really wants to do is win an argument that's been roughly a decade in the making and prove that he was right, that this show isn't good, and that I was even sillier for basically building my career on top of that argument. This is Woolie's way to discredit my entire life's work. All right?
Oh, we're standing the fuck up.
And so Woolie thinks he can get away with that. Woolie thinks he can do that, and then he can do his little smile into the camera, and he'll tell another cute baby story, and he'll get excited about a fighting game character, and everyone will immediately forget it. Please wave back to her. I just want her to be okay.
Now she's going, bye-bye.
She's such a fucking good... Stop using Punch Girl to curb my rage. So that's what's happening here.
Listen.
That is what's happening.
Listen. Okay. So we're gonna go through. I'm sure, right? We'll take the journey. But in terms of the point that is the what is a hunter point, as I was rewatching this series, right, and rewatching the 1999 series in particular, and I'm gonna have much more to say, as you, I'm sure, do as well. That one in particular continued to hit me as I was rewatching this. And it was so interesting because I was like, now, if you know the future of what this series is and where it goes and what's happening and what everything really means, then you don't feel any of the confusion or you don't feel any of the uncertainty or about what's there. You're just taking things at face value because you expect to see what you already know is going to happen.
Okay. Can I tell you how ridiculous I feel your argument is?
You're going to cut me off?
Yes, I am. No, I am, because what you're saying is so insane. This is like being on episode 20 of Bleach and being like, but what is a sword?
Yeah, okay. So here's the problem, right? If you just tell me that if you ask me before I even began the show what a hunter is, I go, I guess that's just the name of any person that might go looking for things, right? And then in the more realistic context of the word, it's an idea of someone with a rifle, perhaps going into the jungle to hunt after animals or to go hunting after deer or something that, you know what I mean? Someone like that. Like that's the kind of image of that we might get. Or you might extrapolate that to like a Craven the Hunter kind of person with a knife in the jungle or something in a more extreme context. But overall, that's just vaguely sort of what we know. Now, when I'm tuning into this anime, young me, and even now older me, right? And now that I've seen more, the context is a little bit further there, but I'm watching this going, all right, we're talking about a hunter in this world, but clearly a hunter in this world is something much more important, significant, and the world system is based on this thing, this job, this title, that it's not just the word that we use ourselves every day in real life. This is the word hunter being used as a replacement for shinigami, ninja, wizard, whatever the fuck the genre of anime is. It's a title of a special type of thing. And a hunter in our world, the license and what that gives you and the process of going through everything and all that stuff, there's something to that and what that means that matters. That's important, right? And this thing simply telling me that it gives you the ability to go find treasures, that is not an answer. And neither is telling me it lets you go hunting down people. Anyone can do that. That is not an answer. An answer is something that is coming from, like, if you tell me, like, the explanation of the fact that, like, the job has facets to it, if you're talking about, like, archetypes and you're getting into, like basically being able to like categorize, the ninja stuff in Naruto into like, they go on their missions, they take these jobs from people that live in the cities, whatever. They eventually break that shit down, right? Whatever, like for pretty early on. The thing with Hunter x Hunter is all you know is you're people who go look for things, and you're watching as people are going to die and going to kill themselves to get this card, and you're watching as these characters want to be this thing, and you're like, but all it is someone who goes to look for things. Like, that's not enough of an explanation of what the word capital H hunter
but is there not enough contextual information? Of course you can't just go find things.
There is not enough contextual information.
Needs a license to go hunt humans, Woolie. But you can't just go hunt people.
It's
Woolie,
not enough
you
information.
Can't go hunt people.
It's not enough information, and about like what the word implies and what that does and the willingness that you're going through everything. So,
here is how every other person viewed Hunter.
It's
okay,
such an important
every other person got that first explanation and looked at the world and looked at the characters and said, "Cool, got it. Hunter means adventurer. Cool."
So what? That's adventurer. Even if you said the word adventurer, like, vague as that may be, it's like, okay, that at least would put an idea out there, I suppose, of like, you then take jobs from who? What is the, like, what is it about this particular thing that the whole world is willing to die for? Like, what is this actual job? Right? I'm supposed to care about the struggles of the people trying to become this thing without knowing why it's worth becoming that thing.
But you can tell it's worth something to them.
And I'm watching
and
it.
And it has something to do with going out into the world and procuring things. Could you not tell that from the first episode?
I was being asked to care deeply about these things as the struggles with the characters and what was happening before the concept was really like cemented in a way that meant anything. That it was like, is this shallow or is it not shallow? Is it just for glory or is there something more noble to it? But
within 3 episodes, they're like, gone. Wants to become a hunter, finds his dad. Kurapika wants to become a blacklist hunter to find the Phantom Troop. Leorio wants to become a hunter to get money.
Oh, okay, within 3 episodes.
What were you going to say? What were you going to say?
That's not within 3. With Leorio, that's not within 3 episodes. Cause
it is 3 episodes. No, he says in 3 episodes. On the third episode,
so you're not talking about
says... Okay. No, I'm not talking about the doctor thing. He says he wants to become a hunter so he can get things to get rich.
Yeah, and so all of this continues to just be, I'm like, the word hunter is just like, it's so open-ended at this point, and it appears to be you can go find people or things or stuff on behalf of who, for what, for in how, what, in what ways, and who pays. Well, in what system?
Watch the series and find all that out.
Certainly. But the thing is usually by this point, right? And by the point of multiple episodes in, perhaps you'd say 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know, however many, right? By that point in most other anime at the time, I would have a much clearer understanding of the job, the role, the thing that the person was aspiring to be would be much more clear cut, so that you would at the very least, like, if you don't quite know what the full ins and outs of being a Pokemon master is, but you can understand that it is a person who is the champion of the leagues, right? You can certainly take it that way. Or then you kind of start finding out there's people who want to be masters in different ways as you go on to find out the different details, right? There's different, like, versions of this throughout anime and out fiction where, like, they give you enough context to start with that when you go, okay, and so you're willing to die for this, you care about it that much, you get that right away. And this show, I felt, looking at it, going back now and revisiting it, that I'm like, this word is so vague, and the idea that it's like, it's just vaguely about finding things is not enough for me to understand what this really is or why it matters and why I should care.
They immediately give
it's
you
not
more
enough for me to give a fuck.
It's
not enough for me to give a fuck. I'm waiting to give a fuck, and it's just not enough for me to give a fuck.
I think this is a very unique linguistical hang-up with you, and you specifically, and I don't know what else to do with it. It's like, this is crazy. It's like they show you Kite, and they're like, this motherfucker's a hunter. Isn't he cool?
He's a cool guy that's being cool. He's standing around, and then he does a thing, and he says, I knew your dad, and then he's out, and you're like, well, that was some kind of fight, man. Okay. I guess
it was some kind of fight, man.
It was some kind of fight, man, and now he is gone. And it's also, that's a whole other weird thing, because I'm like, wait, he was there in the original series, and he was not there in the 2011 series.
No, he is not.
And they chose to remove that absolutely entirely, which is strange, because I'm like, oh, so when people have been saying, oh man, wait till Woolie sees Kite, he's really gonna love Kite, and I'm like, oh, I guess so, because I've seen people posting him at me and stuff. But I actually was like, wait, I don't know. I was like, oh, and I guess I have seen this character before when I first watched this show. That's kind of crazy.
Okay. What I will say there is there's first episode Kite, and then there's Kite.
Sure. When I saw the sentence, the world is a place that has many mysteries and treasures, and a hunter is one who goes out and find them, and that was all, and that's what I'm sitting on the whole time, and I'm like, this, and I'm watching people like dive to their deaths and getting eaten by monsters to do this job, and I'm like what is it about being a hunter in this world that makes it such a coveted position that people would be willing to die for?
But are you not able to? You have to be able to contextually put together that there is great resources that are granted to someone, information, like even laws lifted. Like that's how. Like when they talk about like being a blacklist hunter, it's like, okay, the way you're able to be a blacklist hunter is now humans are things you can hunt legally.
But
if you're a regular citizen, you probably can't do that. But I don't need that explained to me, because of course that's how it works.
Right. You can probably contextualize that it's probably worth it for some reason, right? You can probably contextualize that, yes. What I'm saying, though, is with that left in the air, I suppose, like I feel like the show is kind of at that point assuming you've bought into the idea and are locked in, understanding that they got to do whatever it takes to become one, right? And I'm like, I don't know that I care yet because I don't fully know what this means. That's the only way and we're going in circles, I guess, but upon rewatch, I felt it again. I felt it again. And that moment
different way of coming at it.
And the intro of 2011 that even throws the extra stuff at you and the better pacing make it way more digestible, and you get a much faster grasp of that stuff. And there's other examples as well, right? They change a whole bunch of shit. But
okay, so I will meet you halfway and say the first 3 or 4 episodes of this show are slow.
Okay, are we changing gears?
No. Last thing I want to say, I don't need to know the exact specific of what a hunter is, even though I feel like there's already plenty to go on, because I know it's important to the characters. Gon sees it as a way to find his dad. Kurapika sees it as a way to get revenge on the Phantom Troop. The fact that they care about that, the hunter exam and what it grants, I know it's going to be told to me at some point because I'm a story, and because I understand this is a story and it's going to progress. But the fact that those are the motivations of the characters and this is the thing they're going to do it, that's where I care.
And perhaps if the pacing wasn't dog shit, I would have the leeway to give it that more time to get to.
You know what, Woolie? You know what? Go watch My Fucking Hero Academia. Most bullshit take you have ever had.
I listen. So here's where we go. All right, we have to reset. We have to reset because now we're talking about it all. Now we're talking about it all. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and take it that you went and you saw an alternate version of a story you love. And while knowing everything about that story, you were able to, and correct me if I'm wrong here, you were able to appreciate a different lens into something being retold while still being full aware of the thing and all of its intricacies and details all the way up to the end. And the lens of watching it that way is not the same as the lens of watching it for the first time, not knowing anything about what's coming, right? So there is a difference to watching this show and using it as the means to discover this world and its characters and everything going on in it. And there's something to that pacing that is glacial at times. That is actually, upon rewatch, there are some things I appreciate about it. One thing in particular that I would like to commend right off the bat is the first shot of the show is Mito drinking by herself at a bar, right? At home. And I thought that was a very moody and establishing moment for this character that I don't remember getting, in the other version of it that I thought was, that's a bit of a dark start for this character and her sadness.
So this was something I really kind of wrestled with a lot while watching this. So, okay, I want to put my cards on the table here.
Please.
I loved this.
Cool.
I did not stop. I hit the 12 episodes and I kept going. Okay. I'm near episode 20 now.
Okay.
I adored this, and I think in a way I was always going to, because Hunter x Hunter
of course.
Is my favorite shonen. My favorite era of anime is 90s anime. Are there things about the 2011 version I like better? Absolutely. Is it as cut and dry a decision as I kind of assumed it was? No, it is not, and the art direction is a huge part of that.
Yeah.
I love the look of this thing.
The gorgeous 90s art is amazing. On rewatch, there's some incredible stuff. Yeah, I completely agree. When they get to the island and some of those shots of just nature and some of these old 90s ways of depicting, time and age on things are really, really well done. I thought there's some
shots of the jet going through the clouds and just beautiful hand-drawn clouds moving in Z-axis. Just incredible stuff. I think in general the world feels scarier and more dangerous.
Now that being said, I don't know what the actual manga was like when it came to events and pacing and such, but it really felt upon rewatch here, because I'm looking at this going, how did it take twice as long to get to the same places that the 2011 did? And what I saw was, after 12 episodes, that on the way to everything that the characters had to do, there was a detour into what felt like almost filler, or at the very least, a big extra step along the way that in some cases just meant like nothing was happening, right? I watching the boat pacing, for example, of like the hangout on the boat right after the Gone episode beginning stuff was like, right, this goes on for a bit, and then they're off, and then the mountain hag stuff is going, and before they actually get to the beginning of the test, like all these little things on the way there are happening. And I'm remembering going like, oh my God, right. Me as a kid, admittedly, I'm an older person who has more patience now. And I didn't have as much patience back then for stuff, right? I will fully admit that. Mm-hmm. But me back then, not knowing what this world was, and it was like you're talking about getting to this thing, and just like the feeling that I was being like filler arced before getting to the meat and potatoes of what's going about, what's cool, about what's good, and why I should care about it, was just it felt brutal. And I remember, and watching this now, that like yeah, I want to say like 6 or 7 episodes in, and you're just starting to hit like, okay, now they get to the first exam or whatever. I had these moments of going like, we're spending half an episode just wandering around on a bus, getting lost and wandering through the woods, and like, what the fuck are we doing, man? Like, holy shit, get on with it. Like, it was really just, it felt like I was not enjoying this as establishing stuff with the characters. And in some cases, I felt like watching Leorio be extra mean and shitty about stuff with Gon over slower pacing made Leorio more annoying. I like Leorio, but I felt like he was more intolerable because he was way meaner and shittier in all this downtime that didn't exist in 2011.
So I appreciate that. Like I think the first 4 episodes especially, and it's interesting, I just had a little thumb through the manga while I was listening to you talk. There is a bunch of shit that they actually add filler to the episode 2. Episode 2 is mostly filler. So the end of chapter 1 is that Gon catches the king of the swamp or whatever.
Yeah.
Chapter 2, he's already on the boat. So there was a episode, or chapter 2, he's already on the boat. Okay. Episode 2, where he's like
around town,
getting on, not in the manga.
Yeah, arm wrestling, following Leorio around.
Nothing.
We're fishing. Now we're stealing
the
back
animals
the briefcase.
Free. Yeah.
What the fuck are we doing, man?
I cannot disagree there. I think that was a poor choice. But there are times later on, Woolie, when I really appreciated the slower pace, and there's times when I didn't. There's more hangout time on the blimp, and I love the blimp.
Okay.
You get more exchanges between characters. I can't remember if this exchange is in the 2011 version, but there's a bit later on. What was the last episode you watched?
Yeah, so 12 was them landing on the tower, right?
Okay. So
and
the tower...
And I feel like... so it's funny because, like, I don't remember the blimp as much from like a million years ago when I first started it. But like I think it might have been around like roughly 10 or 11. So it might not have been a clean 12 back then, mind you.
Yeah.
But it more or less was like around the end of the fucking sushi challenge or whatever the fuck, right? Like
yeah.
So but you were saying about the blimp.
So, well, I was saying about the kind of the fight in the tower with the 6 criminals, which is actually a bit after there.
I stopped.
There's this, Yeah. So, but you remember that from the 2011 version where there's a bit where
Do
Kurapika
they have
knocks
to
out
blow
one
out
of
the candles, John?
Yes,
What
they
a
do.
fucking
Yes, they do.
twist.
Hey, Gon's an inventive little boy. But Kurapika knocks out the guy, but then that leads to this problem where Kurapika doesn't want to kill the guy, but it's a death match, and the match only ends when he kills him, and they're running out of time as it happens.
Yeah.
In this, there's like a moment where Killua is like, "I'll just kill him." Like, why? Like Killua can't understand why this is a problem. And I love that this slowed down enough to give us that exchange between Killua and Kurapika, because they don't have a lot of interaction aside from moments like that. And I really love that this anime does take a minute and lets moments like that breathe. The next episode I'm on is like, it might be filler, it might be in the manga, I don't know. It's literally like, and then the boys went and stayed in a hotel for a night. I know that's not in the 2011 version. I can't wait.
Yeah. So this is the thing, right? Now, what you get to enjoy now is characters you love dearly from a series you know inside and out, doing more, so you get to just further enjoy these extras that are all cherry on top, you know? And I have to say that, like, as much as this is a podcast about unique experiences, and that is super valid for what this is, I just think that, like, I'm looking at it from the lens of I'm trying to use this as the primary way to discover this world, and whether or not I care about it and like it, you know? And I was really surprised upon rewatch, because I rewatched this. I sat down and I rewatched it because to put my cards on the table fully, like all bits aside, I sat down and rewatched it going, this might be pretty funny because I'm probably going to actually like this, and we'll look back on it going, man, I was an impatient dumbass, but like, this is just paced a little differently. It's probably fine, but there's going to be a couple of rough edges here and there to it. And I found myself getting impatient again, watching it going, if I didn't know what was coming, when we get to the boar challenge, and then they get the boar, and then they eat them, and then they next step, they have to go make a sushi thing, and they go through the sushi stuff, and like, you're kind of just watching as they go through this goofy sushi challenge stuff, and I'm like, this isn't really that, this part isn't that compelling to me right here. This is not fun. I find this just annoying. It's like, what is sushi? Okay, they live on a world where they don't know what sushi is. One guy knows, okay, but and like, I was kind of like, this part sucks. I don't like this. This is annoying me. This is bothering me. And then and then all before they get to the eggs part of that challenge. And I was like, what did the 2011 version do? And they actually compressed that whole part so that the hunting the boar and then serving them up were the same step, right? And they made that whole thing, like, the first part is kill and serve, and then the big guy would eat it and he loved it all, but she would not approve it because she's like, you didn't prepare it with enough care, and ended up failing everybody. And they fast forwarded that whole thing by making it actually much tighter with that you had to get the approval of both judges. The whole step of them not knowing what sushi is just seems to be this weird, like, do you know Japanese sushi? No, well, this is what it is, and you have to, like, it's kind of like you have to get the resources to learn about it. It was just this really weird filler thing, and it lasted the whole time, right? And when you finally then get to, like, okay, and then they go up and they go for the eggs, that part is also, like, it's drawn out a bit longer, but the 2011 says you dive in and then the wind blows you back up and they wrap it up real quick. But all of those little parts drag in a way that does not improve the characterization, in my opinion. It increases some hijinks in a way that doesn't make me necessarily care more about the characters at the time that I was just getting to know. So, like, it really took until the airship before, like, yeah, you started to really get to see a little bit of what was going on. But I was mentally, like, again, like I said, I feel like I'm checking out at that point, especially if I was younger. So, like, rewatching it, I went, yeah, the stuff I think here that works really well is, again, this 90s art, this anime style of you know, being a little bit darker about things is actually good, especially knowing a little bit more about what the future holds. But using this to discover who these characters are, I don't. This makes it so much rough. I'm like, I remember why I didn't like them, and I remember why Leorio, who's just treating everyone like an asshole. I can't stress how much he's like lying and cheating and fucking just. He's being so much meaner and more callous in these ways. That also, there's a bit of a confusing thing too. Sorry, I'm gonna go on one more tangent here. There's a bit of a funny thing with some of these side quests, which is the captain of the boat says, you're a good person, and I'm going to say that means you're worthy of being a hunter, right? You're showing that you have some bravery and some courage to you, or something different from the rest. And the old lady also sees, yeah, you are a good person, right? And that the fact that you reject this question means that you've got what it takes to be a hunter. And then the shapeshifters all go like, oh, you chose to save, and you figured out the gimmick, and you chose to go after and help the people and stuff. And that means that you also are worthy, right? As opposed to these greedy assholes and stuff. And so there's this kind of lead up to the test where like you have these people kind of testing your quality, almost like a parable, you know, to see like a what the adventurer's true nature is going to be. To then hit a test where they literally have a line that says, yeah, no matter how evil the villain, the examiner can choose to pass them. And then you watch as the evilest, most murderous fuckers also get pushed through the whole thing. And you're like,
what the fuck does Hisoka do in the first part of this exam? Sticking the guy in the wall?
It's crazy. And I'm like, why did you spend the first 4 or 5 episodes establishing that being of moral character is important to being a hunter?
It is funny,
to
though,
then
Woolie,
show you that being a serial murderer is also okay. It's insane.
My feeling to that has always been that I think Togashi, and one of the things I think is really interesting about Hunter x Hunter, I really feel like Togashi was doing his best to write a simple, fun, hijinks shonen anime, and then you go and it's every arc it gets darker and darker and darker, and then at one point he's like, oh fuck, a card game, it's a card game now, and it becomes a card game for one arc, and he tries to make it not dark, and then he creates the darkest arc he has ever done in the Chimera Ant arc. But yeah, I do feel that watching like the early Hunter x Hunter stuff, and it's like, wow, he was really trying to make something kind of innocent, wasn't he?
I guess so. And I, at the time, especially like, you know, whatever, young Woolie, I'm like, okay, spunky kid going fishing with his rod and stuff. Like, not quite the badass I'm looking for in my shonen protagonists, but let's see what we got, you know? But I mean, that aside now, where I'm, you know, we're past our South Park phase, and we're kind of just like, no, there's no reason to, we can accept Superman. Right? We can accept Superman now.
We can accept Superman now. Yes.
Yeah. And with that in my heart, I can look at this and say that like it truly is the pacing that killed me. It was pacing that killed the beast. You know, I felt it again this time on the revisit, and the 2011 pacing increase is a miraculous, incredible job that I can't glaze enough, because truly they get to the place that episode 12 ends at by the end of episode 6.
Do they?
They get to 7. They get to the tower.
I think it's going 50% faster.
Yeah. They get to the tower at episode 7, and they get to the tower at episode 13.
Yeah. Okay, cool. It was interesting comparing bits to the two, because what I'd heard a lot is that the 90s series which got heated?
The beginning of this talk.
Of course. What other way was that going to go?
There was no
if anyone came into this podcast expecting it to be any different from that, then they don't know the lore. But yeah, it was interesting going in. So like, okay, like, yes, you're right. I love this. Hunter x Hunter is one of my favorite things ever, and I love being able to see this new take in it. And I will even say, Woolie, you're right about the pacing. For me, there is a part of me that loves being able to luxuriate in this world longer and experience more of these changes. It's interesting seeing the different especially around like the idea of like the show being like dark or edgy, because there's a bit at the end of the blimp ride. I don't know if you got to it here, and it's when Killua gives up on the ball game with Netero.
Yep.
And then he's walking in the hall.
Yep.
And depending on what version you're reading, 3 different things can happen. If you're watching the 1999 dub, they insert this whole little filler arc about this girl who the Zoldyck family killed her dad. She tries to kill Killua, and then Killua doesn't kill her, but then 2 other guys come to Killua and he knocks them out. That's what happens in the 1999 version.
Yeah.
Or one other guy comes up to Killua. In the 2011 version, filler is gone. 2 guys bump shoulders with Killua, and we get a shot from outside the blimp where we just see blood spray. And it's like, okay, he probably killed them, but it's still a little ambiguous. I just looked up the page from the manga. Dude, check this.
Whoa.
He disembowels those dudes, slices them into little pieces.
Holy shit. Okay. See, that was something that was nebulous. It's interesting it just spells it out there, because I remember with the show not knowing if he had, like, I feel like he was like, I don't want to be like my family. But I remember being like, but wait, has he killed a bunch of people, or has he like resisted the urge to kill a bunch of people?
And this is something I didn't like about the 1999 version. I think they softened Killua a little too much, where I think a part of his character is he doesn't understand that killing is really even that bad a thing.
Right.
Like, he kind of gets that you shouldn't, but he gets that you shouldn't in the same way you shouldn't say bad words. You know, it's impolite.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. And so, like, there's another bit later on where it's in the prisoner game, and it's, like, one of my favorite bits with Killua, where he's fighting this serial killer right at the end of the fight, and Killua just picks the guy's heart out. Mm-hmm. And it's weird again, because in the 1999 version, he takes out the guy's heart and crushes it, Mortal Kombat fatality style. In the 2011 version, he rips off a little bit of the guy's shirt as well, and holds the heart in a little bag of cloth, and you can see it beating. Mm-hmm. And it's like a different kind of violence. It's weird. Mm-hmm. And then the guy dies being like, give me back my heart, and he dies with his hand like outstretched like that, and Killua just walks over and puts the heart back in the guy's hand, and it's like interesting, like, different interpretations of the same moments.
Yeah. Also, I found the egg cliff diving very different in terms of okay, so there's you're watching as people are getting eaten by monsters in the tests and stuff and whatnot, and then there's the thing where they're like, you dive off to try to catch the eggs. In the 1999 version, they say that there's a ravine underneath it that's going to wash you out, to the sea, and there's almost like an implication like that you may or may not make it, right? Almost like there's a moment where was it? There's 2 people that you thought were like potentially dead that then turned out to be okay, right? And in the 2011 version, it's like you're diving into a canyon and the people who failed just literally splatted on the ground and died,
Yeah.
Which also I'm still like kind of fucked up about like how that is, because all of that stuff, I'm cycling back to it. I'm like, if you're willing to dive to your fucking death to get this card, this has to be worth it for some reason. Please explain to me why this is worth it. But regardless, like, it was more brutal in that 2011 context, because it just felt like, you're just diving to your death if you don't time the wind right, But I think that that's kind of what this sort of came down to. And I don't know how many more moments like that Mito opening are happened. I didn't see that many. But that one stood out to me that I made note of it, and the others were, I don't remember how much 2011 goes into the Pietro Black story with Liorio, but
not as much. Not as much.
There's a whole half episode of his hallucination where he's, being chased by Pietro in the afterlife, and then he says, "Die with me," and all that stuff. And it goes a whole long way to go like, yeah, he wants to be a doctor for these reasons and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, I fully watched expecting to be like, yeah, maybe you've got to revise your takes on it. And I'm like, actually, I completely still see where my younger self was coming from. I still see it.
Overall, Woolie, you were wrong all the way down.
I'm trying to think of I'm trying to think of an analogy because I know there is one, but like a thing where I know there must have been I feel like this has happened recently where like a game or a movie or something came out where I was able to see characters that I know and spend a little bit more time with them hanging out doing other contexts. And it was just
all you need is kill, maybe?
It wasn't that, but either way, the point is I can just take anything that take anything that I love and, I don't know, whatever, Disco Elysium or so, anything. And then you tell me that like, oh, there's another version here where you can go spend time hanging out with, these characters and see a little bit more of these different things. And I'm like, all this does is add to the thing that I love, because nothing's going to change that. And this is just another lens at it, But if that were to be the only way to discover this thing, I would treat that very differently, I think is what it comes down to, because it's not just
I appreciate your apology and all is forgiven.
That's crazy. That's absolutely batshit. That's nuts.
It's okay. I don't mind. I'm a forgiving person, and we can move past this. I'm glad that we finally laid this ghost to rest. I see what you did there. I can see that you thought I was going to just kind of lockstep in with your little opinion. Obviously, I'm an independent person. I have my own mind. That was never going to happen. And I'm glad to finally set the record straight. So you're welcome.
I respect your independence, John. I 1000%. I absolutely never would expect you to just go along with the path.
You wanted me to come to this podcast on my hands and knees being like, you were right, Woolie. You were so right.
Not even remotely. I know you love your Hunter x Hunter. I know that's an important thing to you.
But here's the thing, Woolie.
That's not at all what I thought was going to happen.
I think I'm gonna
and I'll
keep
prove it
going.
To you. That's about right. That's about right. Yeah, because why not see every version of the thing that fucking rules? And like,
there's just the way I've been watching this is like with my cup of coffee in the morning, and god damn, it is a good morning anime. And like even the slower pace, it's like, yeah, I'm enjoying the chill here.
You love a good slow-paced cup of coffee in that slow-paced morning, don't you?
I do.
I couldn't get my energy drink going fast enough. I got shit to do. Lest we forget. I couldn't get that energy drink going fast enough, bro. Shall we rank it?
Okay, let's rank it. Let me just get this up here. Okay. So, this was your recommendation to me. So I think I gotta... Okay, honest question, Woolie. Was this a complete whiff, or was there elements of fondness here?
So you're trying to figure out about where to start?
Yeah, because I know how I feel about it, and I know you don't feel positively, but I'm wondering
Okay.
Like, are we talking? Was this an every Leprechaun movie level failure, or was this a Scavenger's Reign? Yeah.
Like I said, there's a couple things. But I don't know. Let's say we start at the Silent Abyss.
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Really? Why not?
Because the Silent Abyss is a place for only the worst, most haunted media, and there's only one thing in there.
Okay. Well, I mean, I kind of feel like chilling down here for a minute. Now, we can talk about it.
You think
we can talk about
that
it.
1999 Hunter x Hunter, this beautiful anime adaptation of this incredible genre-defining shonen series, you think this belongs with Reboot the Guardian Code?
I said let's talk about it.
Okay, let's talk about it.
So there's only one thing currently in the Silent Abyss. You are correct. Tangent. Unrelated. Are there any other categories on this list where there's only one thing?
The Throne of God.
Oh.
Woolie, what game are you playing?
Well, that doesn't seem very fair now, does it? I think that the gates to the Silent Abyss should be opened the same way that the gates to the throne should be opened. And I think that, according to my feelings, at the very least, Hunter x Hunter does not leave or take 1 foot out of this abyss unless those gates are opened to the possibility of change.
What is this bit? What is happening?
What's happening?
I'm waiting for you to get done with this bit so we can actually rank it. So I'll be here waiting for whenever you're ready to actually engage with the premise of this podcast. I refuse to accept the reality where you say that this beautiful anime belongs next to Reboot the Guardian Code. If you're trying to hold this ransom for some reason, go for it.
I think that Berserk sitting on that incredibly deserved spot, as we've discussed, is worthy, but I also think we've talked about it in a way where you've looked at me and said, essentially, if you think this can ever change, you're welcome to try. And I went, well, that doesn't seem very fair now, does it? That's not...
But why isn't that fair? Okay, I feel like there's a kind of misconception here that needs to be addressed. People think that the Throne of Heaven is a locked position.
It sounds like that, not. Yeah. It sounds like that, yeah.
We watched the Shibuya incident walk up to the throne and be like, let's go, motherfucker, and then immediately get infinity snapped from existence. Good fight, everyone. I had fun, but that's how that went. The throne is open. Any challengers to the throne can come, but what I don't need is for you to pretend, you to have this little fucking play fantasy that this incredible piece of 90s animation that I wish I had watched earlier in my life so I could know how fucking wrong you were. That going in the Silent Abyss, I might just declare that maybe we do close the throne. Because as long as we're both doing crazy shit here, Woolie.
So hold on. Are you then therefore saying, that the throne is open? And that
the throne has always been open. I am the one who walked the Shibuya incident up to the throne, and I said, there you go, little buddy. And then it got annihilated. So
then what's your issue with the vagabonds of the world? What's...
There is none. I love Vagabond.
Okay. There was a weird energy that seemed to indicate to me that things were not up for discussion at any point ever again.
Well, with Vagabond, I have already read Vagabond.
Certainly.
And you have already read Vagabond. Certainly. That's the only thing stopping it being a contender.
I see. But overall, then, you are clarifying here that you are not shutting down the Throne of Heaven.
The throne has never been closed.
Okay. All right, great. Then that's all I needed to
Woolie,
hear.
Can we do our job now? Would that be okay? Would that be okay if we did the thing that we people actually pay us to do? Is that all right?
That's all I needed to hear. I'm more than satisfied with that. So
reboot the Guardian Code. Okay, Woolie, I'm gonna need some vengeance for that.
So
I had a place I was comfortable dropping 1999, and now I'm gonna need it a couple of spots higher. Now I'm gonna need some recompense for that.
Quite simply, I'm glad that you've clarified your position, and with that, we can continue with the ranking. Now, that being said, you felt earlier that I was expecting you to fall to your knees and grovel, I believe you said earlier.
That is what I was expecting, yes.
Which I believe I just demonstrated. No, actually, that was not the intent.
You just tried to put it in the silent abyss! What are you talking about?
I'm just saying that, I think, we can go above the silent abyss. I think it was a bit better than that. Mm-hmm.
You know, Woolie, I know there are so many people who their, actual fucking dream would be to do a podcast with you. I see their comments. I get the it should have been me energy. I am telling those people, you do not want this.
Look. You know, every once in a while, you link Twin Peaks to Caribbean food, and it's like, hey, good move. Gotcha. Good stuff. That works out.
You're still hurting from that one, are you?
That was a pretty good move.
And then I got Caribbean food off the list.
And there it is, in the liminal zone. But, I'm happy knowing that the gates of heaven are open. I truly, it felt to me like it was completely close to discussion. And I may have...
The only thing
look, I may
keeping
have
Berserk on the throne of heaven is Berserk.
Okay, fair. So, I may have held a gun to the head of Hunter x Hunter 1999 under the understanding that that unfair situation was occurring. But
what a terrible move from every angle. Oh no, my second favorite adaptation.
Yeah, it's that's ultimately fine. Again, so that it shouldn't matter that much at the end of the day, right?
Okay. Well, I mean, I want recompense.
Let's talk about it.
Cool. I'm gonna say that Hunter x Hunter 1999 is going above Darkest Dungeon 2.
Yeah. I'm thinking more like Solo Leveling. I'm feeling
I can't meet you down there. I can't meet you down there.
I'm feeling like, because once again, I don't know about the episodes beyond what you watched, but at the very least, within the purviews of what we saw there, just and you know, taking this in with fresh eyes. I was quite surprised. By what I continued to feel. I'm thinking around Solo Leveling, Bloodborne PSX.
I'm thinking around Darkest Dungeon 2. I'm thinking above Darkest Dungeon 2.
No, not above.
I think we're going above.
I don't know if we're going above.
I think some of the writing in Darkest Dungeon 2 is a little contrived.
I think the pacing of Darkest Dungeon 2 is immensely better than for Hunter x Hunter 1999. I think the gameplay is pretty good too.
I think every time I start up Darkest Dungeon 2, I have to play through the same fucking bosses that I've beat a million fucking times. It just gets kind of boring.
Yeah, and yet somehow I care about it more than the fucking characters that I barely got to know in this super slow ass fucking thing that took forever to get started. I don't know.
I'm thinking of Darkest Dungeon 2. I'm thinking of Darkest Dungeon 2.
I don't know. I don't think I like that. I think we might have an issue. I think we might have an issue. What do we do? This is the first. What do we do? Hunter x Hunter, the origins, the start of what do we do now? What do we do? Because if you think I'm going to just back down now, you're out of your mind. Now I have to die on this.
You know, I was about to compromise until you used the term back down, and now I can't. Now you've locked us both in, Woolie. Now you've locked us both in.
Well, now what do we do?
I can come down one, so that Hunter x Hunter is between Darkest Dungeon 2 and Fear and Hunger.
I can accept that.
Okay. I appreciate you backing down, Woolie.
I appreciate you backing down literally from your position. Your compromise has been noted.
You backed down more. You backed down 4 times what I backed down, which makes me the bigger person.
Well, I mean, realistically, at the end of the day, I think the place that this kind of lands as the average is like, yeah, that's probably about right. It doesn't seem that
honestly, it's yeah, it is that there's stuff to appreciate here, and there are also problems.
How about that OP?
It's nice. It's just Departure's a fucking tough one to come up against. Yeah. Ooh. And that's halfway through the episode.
Hey. Competitive podcasting is back on the menu. All right, temperatures are high.
Okay, we got to cool off. We got
temperatures are high, and I think we get our best podcasting done when level cool heads prevail.
Okay. Yeah. I can feel myself coming down. I can feel Woolie, I'm chill now. I'm
good.
Yeah.
Good.
You calming that hot head of yours?
1,000,000%. Love that.
Okay.
So you asked me to read Homestuck.
Well, you know, Woolie, on the last episode, you sent me on a journey, right? And it was Ed, and Eddie, one of my favorite recommendations you've ever given me. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Beloved show with an intense fan base. And you asked me, John, what's the deal with Ed, and Eddie? And I was like, okay, Woolie, I appreciate you so much for letting me go on that journey. I would like to reward you with a similar journey. Woolie, what is the appeal of Homestuck?
Okay. This was a double blind. Need I remind everybody? So you started down this journey too.
Yes.
Okay.
Woolie, have you ever gotten a recommendation that so many people came to you terrified that you would read it wrong?
Yes. This is no. This is the most I've gotten ever about.
You need to read it like this. And everyone, I had at least half a dozen people come to me with that energy and giving different, ways to read it.
Because it turns out there's a billion different ways to consume this thing, and they're all have problems one way or the other for various different reasons. If you want to go read it as a printed book, you're going to miss out on that. So whatever. What I ended up doing, which seems to have worked out, was the unofficial browser program, which is just recreating an old internet browser that plays Flash stuff in it. Right?
Yep.
Because Flash is dead now. Is that what you did?
Yeah, I think so. So I don't think it's 100% recreated, but there is the odd section where there's interactable parts to it.
it works with that stuff, and it plays out the videos, and it animates what it's supposed to animate. You know, and it lets you open up tabs too, because every once in a while you click on a link that opens up a tab to a different side story, you know, or something to that effect. Okay. How far did you get? This is
I got decently far into Act 4.
Okay. I got into the middle of Act 3. So I am 1,000 pages in, roughly.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like we should give people a little preamble on what Homestuck is, because I know that there's a lot of people who know, and I also feel like Homestuck has a weird legacy that some of our more Gen Z listeners might not be aware of.
I think there's also a lot of people like us who are our age who have heard about it forever, but just never checked, never bothered diving in any way, kind of like we didn't. And
I'll even say, only now I kind of know what it is, and my understanding of it before this was incorrect.
I think my understanding was correct from before, but it was just incomplete. And now that I see the more specifics of it, I'm like, yes, this all checks out with what I thought, and its appeal and what's going on. So Homestuck is it's essentially a web comic. It's the after this series called MS Paint Adventures completed, I guess, like 3 previous cycles in which the creator was taking essentially suggestions from a forum, I believe, to draw what happened every day to, you know, the characters in each comic. Homestuck was like the big decision to make a large narrative spanning massive world building chapters and arcs with these characters, and it's a multimedia experience, because while the first comics are reading one panel at a time, and often sometimes with text beneath it to give you a little bit of you have an image to look at, might be a little animated here and there, and then some text to read underneath it. Sometimes you'll get like a interactable scene where you can move around and click on things, for example, almost as if you're simulating playing a video game. And then sometimes you get panels that are just an animated flash sequence that's like cinematic.
Another really common kind of format of this is one character at a computer talking to another character, and you are seeing their chat log. Mm-hmm. And that's how a lot of the dialogue happens in this thing.
Mm-hmm. And then there's narration, of course, happening, which is also part of the meta of what's going on. And then there's also tons of like links and tie-ins, and I'm glad that there wasn't alt text, because every time I find out something has alt text, it's like that is a perfect little OCD nightmare for like, you read every XKCD and you did not know that you could highlight the comic and get extra text.
Whoa, okay, yeah.
That type of shit where you're like, time to go check it all again, like, but in this case, you'd sometimes click on links towards things. So, for example, one of the earliest panels here, and this actually, I found out the hard way, that like one of the early things you do in your room is the main character, John, is taking a look at his shelf, and he sees a bunch of other books he has, and you can click on those books and they open up pages towards other comics. And they look like little side comics that you can go on, little quests and things like that. I've seen Problem Sleuth as a t-shirt. I've seen that. I've heard that word. I've seen pictures of it, and it's like, oh, here's the actual thing. And then you kind of click through a bunch of these, and then you realize perhaps 100 pages in that you're like, wait a minute, this is not a small little side thing I clicked on. I clicked on an entire previous MS Paint adventure, and this was just referencing that. And you were supposed to, I guess, know that was a thing and go, oh yes, I know that, and then come back to the main thing.
Was MS Paint Adventures, like, is that the umbrella term for the stories this guy was doing?
Yeah, I think that's the website, that's the webcomic, you know.
Gotcha. Okay.
And it's that one that breaks containment that goes on to become its own bigger thing, where like the subtitle becomes the main title, you know.
So here's the thing. If you grew up with me and Woolie's generation, the way you probably encountered Homestuck was A, people talking about it, B, people cosplaying trolls in Homestuck. Mm-hmm. This became before Attack on Titan, before all the other like cosplay viral sensations, I'd say it was the trolls. These characters with grey skin and orange horns.
I remember seeing some of that. I also remember it being one of the things where, basically the media and fandom from it used it to parse other like memes. So I said before that like one of the first big popular things with old Two Best Friends Play back in the day was Two Best Friends Play S-Burb, where someone took audio of Matt and Pat and put I think it was John and Dave as the characters talking, and they played that audio, and that became very popular because people were like, who are these people? I know the Homestuck characters, but what's this audio from? Right?
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
And that was one of the first big things that got a whole bunch of the fandom outside of the initial machinima people to come over, right? Same way that Two Snacks took the audio from old Best Friend stuff and put it on My Little Pony. And then people who are bronies were like, oh, what's this? This is hilarious, because they're mainly just looking at the characters from the thing, but they're hearing the audio of something else, right? So those mashups were these big things. And that's kind of how I started to hear about it.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Homestuck. Homestuck is like old internet when I think a lot of fandom and a lot of stuff was like so much of what like modern internet social architecture was being established back then. And Homestuck, like I think it's like one of the first truly massive online fandoms, like before Undertale, before all this other kind of stuff.
And I was in there in the Newgrounds eras, but this feels like what happened once I stopped paying attention to Newgrounds. It feels like this was one of those shifts that occurred at some point, right?
Yeah. I can remember going to look at Homestuck and being like, oh, this sucks. Like, just immediately making a snap judgment, because I saw all the fan art and I saw all the fandom, and I was like, wow, what is this incredible thing that has garnered this level of adoration? And then I actually went to, like, the homestuck.com. I moved around a little bit, and I was like, maybe it gets better later. And I left.
And what I do know, and what I will say to its credit, is the thing that I remember laughing at, that I didn't know was from that originally, and I still, looking at it and laughing, is Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff, I warned you about the stairs, bro. I told you about the stairs, dog. I told you, is one of the funniest old bits of old internet. I remember without context. I didn't know where it was from, but just the dude falling down the stairs forever and just, I warned you, bro. I told you about the stairs. It's just, it was funny, and we used to laugh at that real hard at the time.
Here's the thing, Woolie.
I told you.
I laughed quite a lot reading this. And I was not expecting to. I didn't really know what I'd make of this. I kind of just wanted to throw a recommendation grenade at you.
Yeah. I laughed at Broblerone. That got me,
So there's a bit that really the scenario made me crack up, and it's Dave Strider going into his brother's room and constantly trying to reassure himself that his brother's love of puppet ass is ironic.
Yeah.
Slowly he starts getting freaked out because he's like, There is a lot of puppet ass in here, though.
Totally ironic. Yeah.
I like this. There was dumb stuff. There's a page early on where it says, "Seems like you're stuck at home in a titular fashion." It's like, okay,
right. And then there's it's also the origins of Toby Fox music, right?
Yeah, and damn, some of that music.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, because like you will hit like an animated page, and these tend to be saved for like big plot events, and all of a sudden this very like dinky looking little comic, because this, it looks like a comic, it looks like an early Flash cartoon, not even like a good standard of early Flash cartoon, I'd say.
Mm-hmm. So Homestuck is it's this multimedia experience, and it appears to be about like a character who is the basically living a life where a video game interface and UI experience are like overlapped on top of their regular life, and their friends and people that they interact with online all have their own journeys and arcs, and it seems as if this video game overlay interface life thing that's happening is also coinciding with an apocalypse and a grand journey adventure towards a large destiny, a coming of age tale. And what in the 1,000 pages that I read, what I liked about it and what I thought was interesting was the fact that you never know what's going to happen on each page from the net format to format, where sometimes you're going to just get hit with a fight scene where you click on actions, sometimes it's mash your keyboard to do goofy things, to play this flute really awkwardly.
That was really funny. The little animations for her playing her flute.
Right. And then sometimes it's just an establishing shot of your character walking outside and looking up, and then the whole thing zooms out to create a moment, or the end of Act 2, like these big zoom out moments where a bunch of things start to happen. And that's a cool thing, because like by having something be one panel at a time, and then sometimes chat logs, sometimes the thing is asking you to read a game fac, and that constant shifting presentation and media is a genuinely fun experience that's like pretty unique and time capsuled.
Yeah, I have never really experienced something quite like this.
It's almost like being a Kingdom Hearts fan, where you've got to jump from the PlayStation over to the Game Boy Advance and then back to the phone.
Meanwhile, the underlying narrative has a very, I'll say, loose sense of reality.
Right.
Where there's a lot of times you kind of just need to accept that something is happening.
Yeah. And of course, I know Kingdom Hearts now is all collected and stuff, but there was a time when you had to jump through 18 different medium hoops to figure out
Get out that Game Boy Advance original.
Mandatory plot events occurring.
Mm-hmm.
There's weird stuff that happens in its narrative too, where I'm like, it seems every time we jump into a new character's head, at some point they have a wild intrusive thought about shitting everywhere, and then they have to stop it. And I'm like, is this just a recurring gag, or is this like the audience was forcing them to do this and then he went, no, I'm not going to do that. Audience, you can't make this happen. I'm not too sure what the bit is, if that was still just like being driven by votes or not.
Whenever a joke
every single character.
Whenever a joke lands a bit weird, I always put that down to an audience suggestion he does not take.
Perhaps.
Or at least addresses and doesn't take.
And overall too, there's also this there's this very early, or like not early, middle-aged internet sense of a grand adventure, a grand RPG unfolding, and I could definitely see the getting, if you're into it, you can get lost in the theories and the references of the icons, of what things mean, of how it all comes together. And every time it cuts away to establish a new thing, a new character, a new location, a place, something that might tie into something else, you can go for like wiki diving like crazy for everything tying back into itself, you know? And those little breadcrumbs are like massive appeals to some folks, you know?
There's a significant portion of the early story that is like John, the main character, explaining the posters on his wall.
Right. In insane detail, you know, like, and the jokes therein. So yeah, that's one thing. And I think something, you know, again, like with the things that I thought were cool about it, like it has that whole thing. There's an aspect to this that I can only describe as autism cozy. It feels,
wow.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely, that makes sense.
I feel like when I'm reading this that it's like
autism cozy.
Everything is about categorization. Everything is about the sorting of things, inventory management systems, captcha logs, fetch modus. Everything is a mental fidget spinner. And your color is green and your name is Jade, and that ties into your quadrant on the 4, and that you have a part to play in this thing. And you are red, you are Dave Strider, you have the sword, you represent this ties into your part to play in that. And your organizational structures are unique to you in this way, but he uses a different one, and she uses a different one.
So a huge portion, especially of the first 3 acts of this comic, is not only explaining to you how the different characters' inventory works, but those systems of inventory driving the plot and being used for comedy.
I would say it's the main point of the story, is the characters in this world by default, before the plot begins, like, are living in a world where you can install an inventory management system in your life, and it simulates a video game, and it'll be like, what type of inventory management system do you use in your life? And many people
one will
have
be like
harder
first
ways.
in, one will be like first in, first out, or last in, last out. But then like Dave Strider has one where it basically adds up the letters of the word and then gives you a value based on like a kind of Scrabble-esque value. And so then if chair becomes 5, it goes into your 5th inventory slot. Yes. But then if something else also adds up to 5, it pushes the chair out, and the chair will literally shoot out across the room and smash against the wall.
Like a weapon.
That got me a couple of times, because you just hit next, and I was like, oh, fuck, and something just ridiculous would happen.
Something goes flying out the window.
Like at one point, his samurai sword goes flying out and kills a bird, and it's like, okay.
And like, it seems to be something too where like, if you want to, like, you choose more complex inventory systems, like, because it's more interesting almost. Like, it's just boring to just pick a plain old pick what you want system. So, you know, like, you have the Rose system where she has everything in alphabetical hierarchies. And it's like, if you want to sit down and figure out exactly how that actually works, I'm sure you could. But after a certain point, I'm like, I'm not going to try to actually calculate. I'm just like, sure, I'll just take what you say for
I had parts of this, and I hear a lot of people talk about this with the Jujutsu Kaisen domain expansions in the manga, where at some point you're like, cool, he beats him. You know? And there was parts of this where I was like, okay, I'm just going to accept that this all makes sense and continue on.
Yeah, exactly, because I stopped to crunch the numbers a little bit a few times, and I realized it wasn't worth it, right? But the thing about it is that, make no mistake, if you do crunch the numbers, it's all really meticulously calculated to be accurate. Same thing for when you learn about the punch card system, you know, and such, because there's another layer of this where they start playing this game called S-Burb, which overlaps over the characters' lives and allows somebody on a host. There's a client and a host connection, which is how you'd play old online games. And it allows essentially someone with a cursor to use your life like a point and click. and to click and drag and create objects.
So if I had
life.
S-Burb for Woolie, Woolie would basically become a sim in real life, and I could drop things in his room and pick them up.
And I think all of this scratches an itch if you are enjoying the organizational structures of what you're looking at. And if you're also just somebody, because I'm thinking of the times where even just thinking about categorizing characters in worlds and settings and categorizing, just like objects and values and things, right? All of these subsystems, it's almost like, I remember for a while I was wondering, I was like, this is going way back, but like Naruto talking about chakra, and it's magic, it's just whatever. But like, are they ever going to try to explain literally how it occurs and works, or is it just like simple enough to suffice to say that you say some words and then the thing happens, And they can do either. You don't have to hit midichlorians on things. But eventually there's a chapter where they do talk about how and what the elements are and why and so on. And if you're somebody that likes working on the mechanics and getting into the nitty gritty of how and why the magic works, there's a lot here to go in on, because everything has a value. Everything has a binary volume that you can convert over to a punch card for an object, which you can then fuse. And then there's a whole logic to using multiple punch cards to fuse objects together. And you can just go down a rabbit hole of that.
Yeah.
Right.
And the characters like figure all this out in kind of not real time, but like they make mistakes and they fuck it up and they're like, well, why isn't this working? And it's weird.
Yeah. And I think it's also like while punchlines are happening and goofy things are going on, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of the humor is kind of like being like, isn't this absurd? Like, isn't this silly? And like, even like Dave Strider, like he has his capture log system is the most convoluted. It's the kind of Scrabble word one. And his kind of logic is like, this is really impractical, and that's ironic and funny because I'm ironic and funny.
I'm ironic and funny. Yeah, I'm cool. Yeah. Right. So now outside of that, in that 1,000 pages, here's what else I got. Well, okay. Hey, guess what? The slurs have dated poorly, right?
Yes, they have.
So hey, there's that. Right. That aside, I was hit with a feeling reading this that I've never been hit with before. There's some of the jokes, the way they hit, the way this goes, I have never felt more certain in my life. This is hyperbole, but like, follow the energy here. The creator, the author of this comic, it feels to me like they have never interacted with a black person in their life.
Wow. Okay, cool. Hit me.
There are some moments of being like, okay, because I know there's a part of this where you're like, okay, suburban kid, right? You're growing up in the suburbs, and this is the life, this is the neighborhood, the block you grew up on, and these are the friends you have, and so on. And then when it's time to be wacky and wild and crazy, we're gonna like try to grab things like talking about the negrosity of the situation, and that gets used nice and early. Right, while Dave is freestyle rapping, and you're like, oh, you don't know black people. You literally have never met one. You might, maybe, but it seems like you haven't spent too much time.
You know, Woolie, one thing I want to say is that sometimes, because the old dyslexia, when I encounter a word that I have never seen before, my brain kind of skips over it a little bit. And I'm going to say I might have missed that one. I read other stuff, and I was like, that's not cool.
That one drops, and I was like, "Oh, I know who this kid is. I know who this kid is. I went to school with you." I'm like, "Yeah, right. No. It's funny. It's funny because that's the bit, right?" And it's just like, yeah, you're young, and you have a very, very closed world, and this is in fact about some of the fantasy video game wild adventures we're having in this very closed world. And then the other times when it's time to get wacky and kooky with the dialogue, how one of the recurring things that pops up at least 3 times is like, yes, my fine Octoroon. And Octoroon comes up a couple times as an old-timey weird, old-timey word.
What does that word mean?
An octoroon is a reference to somebody who has 1/8 black in them. And basically, back in the time when things were, believe it or not, even more racist than they are, people believed in things like the 1-drop rule, where essentially, if you have 1 drop of black blood in you at all, you are considered a Negro. And an octoroon is somebody who's 1/8 black, essentially. And that was that was what they used at the time.
Okay. Gonna say that one snuck on by me as well, Woolie.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And so it's just like, it's these kind of goofy, quirky racial words, right? It's not, you're not just going all in on dropping on it, but like you're using them in this weird kind of goofy, ironic, ha, the hipping hopping, ha, the rapping, look at me, right? In a way that like the goofy white kids I know who were kind of like acting like that a bit in school were like, but it's the funny, I'm hipping and I'm hopping, look at the pants sag. And like there's a little bit of that to just like, okay,
is it nearly like there's like really... there is an assumed absurdity in just the mere existence of these cultural things?
Little bit of that, right? It's just that distance from it that makes it so kind of goofy and wacky to begin with, and so the wildness of even being a rapping freestyle person. And anyway, it just hits like somebody who didn't spend much time. I don't know how else to put it, and I have no basis to this claim. Right, I am pulling it out of my ass, but I'm reading the dialogue and I'm feeling it hard. But
regardless of how true that is or is not in reality, I think you are identifying something very real, because like I would have way less of a sense than that to you. But like even missing those references, yeah, there is that. Oh, hip hop, that's a gag. You know what I mean? Yeah, I get it. So like even like thinking of like the puppet, and the puppet is like dressed up in like gold chains and stuff, it's kind of like
it ultimately it just that's it. I feel a bit like I'm like, oh yeah, I know that energy. I recognize what that is. And it's just a simple like, you grew up in a pretty closed off, perhaps suburban environment, maybe, where you just didn't experience a whole lot of different kinds of people, maybe your high school, or I don't know what it was. I don't know. But beyond that, I think by the time I stopped, at the very least, and let's be real, like I definitely thought like, man, how much of a flex would it be to walk in here being like, so I fucking read all of Homestuck.
Yeah, I had that thought as well, and then I did like a quick little just wiki dive to see how long it was, and then I was like, how long is Act 5? Okay, well, Act 4 is pretty good.
Yeah, how long is Act 5?
Act 5 is longer than the rest of Homestuck.
Okay, it's over the halfway point.
I mean, it's technically under the halfway point because Act 5 is so fucking huge.
No, but sorry, that's what I mean. What I mean to say is Act 5 in itself is bigger than the entire rest of the comic.
Well, the Act 5 has 5 acts.
I see.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that being said, however many thousand, because I believe it's like 8,000 pages is what I was told is the the total page count. So I made it 1/8, an octoroon of into the page count. Do you see what I did there? Do you see
a fine jest?
And so I can what I'm looking at here, as we've set up by this point, we've set up Dave, John, Dave, Rose, Jade, and then we've set up the mysterious future imps, you know,
trolls, Wooly, please.
Trolls, excuse me. I don't. Well, that has not yet been established. At the point that I'm at, they're just wanderers that are all covered up. Right.
I think those are different things.
Okay. Well, whatever those things are, the wanderers in the desert.
I could be wrong. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
Understood.
It's established them as main characters as well, prominence, and there's enough of like these things that where you're like, hey, this little icon that you're seeing that is like the cat's head is also this wolf's dog's head that is also this thing on this pumpkin, and you're starting, and there's a bunch of things that are starting to recur over and over again, where like the curiosity to know how this all ties together is there. So I'm like, yeah, there is the part of me that goes like, when this all comes together, like I wonder if it's cool or not, you know? And there, for all this like super dated, insane fucking product at the time that this whole thing is, I can absolutely see how people would throw themselves into it as a bottomless pit and get lost in their OC versions of all of its content. And I guess my only question, I just wonder, I'm just like, does it pay off, or is it just the idea, the journey was more worth it than the actual, you know, the ends? Because I can say that like jumping from this into things like, hey, the Earthbound ROM hacking scene is now the birth of Undertale.
And that's the link, right? Like that is
literally
that this is part of why I wanted to experience Homestuck, because yeah, it is every bit the kind of like, do you want to understand internet pop culture? This is required reading. And there's so much about like the sense of humor and stuff that I think really leans into that. And for me, you know, one way I think we're very different in consuming media, Wooly, is like you are quite about like sort of, you want a payoff. You want the big thing. Here's what this is. Right?
Not always. Not always. But when it feels like you're using it as a carrot, then I'm curious about your carrot. Because if you never dangle it, then I never question it. One of my favorite shows, a show I really enjoyed, Azumanga Daioh, is about nothing, right?
Yeah.
Characters just chilling out, doing whatever. There's no carrot being dangled or implication that there's some grander thing to build towards or whatever. It's if you set up mysteries and questions that might have answers, you know that those answers string along the viewer so that they want to keep in. That's when I'm going, okay, well, what do you got going for it? You know? Is the basement worth it when we get there? I say yes, personally.
Yeah,
but
I also say yes.
But if there was no basement, I wouldn't be asking this question. I would just be going along for the ride.
Sure.
You know?
So I think for me, what the most stock I put in media is, am I enjoying the experience of consuming it? Like, is the moment to moment satisfying to me? And I actually have to say, I did enjoy the moment to moment of Homestuck. I found it immensely frustrating in places, and I'm kind of annoyed because chapters 1 to 3 I really, really enjoyed. I enjoyed them a lot. And like I'd be sitting next to Michelle on the couch, like just like giggling away at like the stupid jokes and stuff. And chapter 4 is way more drawn out in a way that I'm kind of finding really frustrating. But I'm also getting close to the introduction of the trolls. Like, they're popping up and interfering with the story in interesting ways. And like the way they're describing time travel is really weird and odd. And I want to see what the deal is. But I think there's so much stuff that I already love that is so adjacent to this. Like, obviously, Undertale is like my 6th favorite game ever. Like, I love that so much. And so much of that DNA is in here. I am amazed Homestuck is as popular as it is, only because I just find it so obtuse and it takes so much patience. But I also get why that love is there. And reading it, it's like, yes, this is something I kind of care about and want to experience more of. I don't know where I'll land on it, but there's enough here that I do want to keep going and I do want to see what the deal is here. So yeah, I think
Sorry, yeah. No, just because like, even like you're talking about trolls, and I'm like, I haven't even gotten to the introduction of the trolls yet, right? Like, whatever you're describing is not yet a thing. But the things that I'm looking at that are like pointing, that are at the WrestleMania sign, so to speak, these moments in stories where you zoom out to talk about like, a light kingdom and a dark kingdom. You clearly establish this is going to be a thing, and you describe the chessboard and all of that, and then you never describe it again. A present in a box that falls into the abyss, and you'll maybe see it in the future, but maybe you won't, whatever, but it's clearly going to be a thing, And these are all things where you're just like, I'm promising you a payoff, and I'm scratching that little thing in your brain that wants to know the answers, right? And even the idea of like the pumpkin, what pumpkin, right? Where I know that's from reading the other MS Paint Adventures, I think it's like that's a recurring bit of like the thing that you just saw is not actually there. But in this case, it's almost like, I would not be surprised to find that like things that are appearing and disappearing as I'm reading this, there's going to be a moment or many down the line where a singular action needs this thing to appear all across time and space to make this one moment happen and have a payoff occur. But in order for that to make it make sense, you needed to have it jump around the entire existence of the things leading up to this point.
So it's funny you should say that, because I've actually read earlier parts of the story now. So there's a part quite early on, and it's between Rose and John, and Rose literally says, "Sorry, some troll is bothering me. Give me a sec." And then she just comes back and goes, "Okay, good now." And John's like, "Oh, are those trolls back?" And later in the story, you see the conversation Rose had with that troll and its implications.
Yeah.
And now what's becoming... So you're seeing different colored text breaking into the chat logs, and that different colored text is these trolls appearing. I still haven't, I've seen them, but I haven't got a proper section with them.
Right. Okay. I just got to see the beginning of what you're describing there, where they mentioned them being dealt with. Yeah. But I guess if they're such a massive part of the fandom afterwards, then they must be a huge part of the story in future acts that we have not yet seen. Right. But all this to say, some settings are like almost like they're the events occurring and the characters and what they do are important, but like it's almost like the world building in and of itself is equally as important, where it's a place that's made for you to almost imagine your own OC inside of it and envision what your traits would be, what your captcha log might look like, how your fetch modus might work.
This is something that really blindsided me with this thing. This is a fake video game.
Yeah.
Homestuck is a fake video game.
Yeah.
And it's even you could get into a debate of how real it is because it has interaction sections or whatever. But that's kind of what this is. It is literally, one of the things that's great about fake video games is they give you a means to understand how you would interact with this world. Homestuck kind of does that as well. Woolie, we don't even have to look that there are people fan-fictioning their own inventory systems.
Of course. And just what house does the sorting hat put you into? What hidden village do you belong to? What's your stand, right? You and all your friends in the lunchroom talking about what your own version of that would be. What's your Bankai? Hey, what would your character do, right? It's all of that, and a million different ways to design your own, customized tabletop, if you want to, version of this. It's it's a world establishing. It's why things like Star Wars take off and become so massive, not just because of the movie and what it is and so on, but also because it creates a universe that people love to think about being in and participating in, and what the things happening behind or off camera might be, or what that might be like, So yeah, anytime you world build effectively, And I'd say that, like, hey, guess what? Toby Fox did the same thing with Undertale and Deltarune and things like that. You feel this massive, like, environment and its ins and outs and ebbs and flows. You feel how that appeals very uniquely. Ironically, I don't feel that, like, Earthbound itself is actually about that in any way. That feels a very personal, grounded, like, particular thing. You know, it's
in
not like
so many ways, Earthbound is a vibe. You know,
Yeah.
in so many ways, it's like it's not a structural world building thing. It is, but you can still feel elements of Earthbound in this thing.
You can, but like, yeah, this whole, like, you know, getting into your OC side of it, but also just appreciating, you know, that, like, if you do add up the name, the lettering of this word and then convert it into binary and then into hex and put it vertical, line it up on the punch card and look at that system layout, you're going to see this adds up and makes sense, and this is why this punch card gives you this result, right? If you want to go through that and go all the way into that, you can actually do that. Or explaining how the like I said, the various different board game systems that Jade is using, you know. And it feels like Jade is a character too that, like, gets introduced forth and has, like, a billion things going on, you know. So they, like, it almost is like you're used to the 3 established previous ones, so we just need to, like, speed this up almost. It just gives you food for thought to think about and organize in your brain as you go through inventory management, and also what could this mean, what could this mean, what could this mean. I can only imagine what those forums were like when people were pointing out, like, did you notice that, you know, Ghosty Trickster was the previous Pester whatever name that he used to use, but now it's different, and, you know, and all of that is
so
is,
yeah. And there's actually a bit later on where he confirms he changed his name to try and hide from the trolls, but then the trolls can, like, see all of time at once or something, and they're like, why did you do that? Did you think that would do anything? It's fucking strange. I really enjoy thinking about this comic in, like, what was it, 2009, and thinking about the internet being as limited as it was back then, and what a crazy fucking thing this would have felt like.
Homestuck is a mental fidget spinner. That's what it's, mental fidget spinners all the way through. Not everything does that, but I feel it immensely with this.
And you don't really mean that in, like, a negative connotation.
Not necessarily. No, I can see. It's not like I crave this sensation, but I can see how it can be comforting, and I can see what is, like, fun to think about with it. You know, it's a fun thought exercise almost to live in a little bit and go, like, yeah, how would that work? What would that be? You know? But then also, I don't know, maybe go hang out with different people in your on recess. Go say hi to that kid you don't know at lunchtime. You know, go see what's up. You might.
Did you get to? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
You might expand your your worldviews a little bit. You know.
Did you get to the bit where he's talking, where he goes into his dad's room and finds out what's in there?
For the first time, he goes into his dad's room. I was going to bring that up. I thought we were cutting for time, but a little bit. But, like, yeah, right. And the perception that, like, oh, this is actually, you all thought one thing. You thought this was your dad's insane clown life was one thing, but he was just a normal businessman, and it's all on you.
Yeah, that bit kind of, like, that bit hit me a little in the feelings, and I appreciated that, because I think the writing in Homestuck is good, but I was kind of like, okay, but can something happen emotionally? And I felt like that bit was like, okay, there's stuff here.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd say that's, like, one of the good ones. There might have been another, but
it didn't really go anywhere. I do enjoy Dave Strider's whole dynamic of he looks up to his brother so much. And it's like, you know, I remember, you know, I have a friend growing up, and he worshipped his brother, and he worshipped him so much, And like, you know, the brother would be coming home for like the holidays, and it would be like such a huge deal. And he was a fucking asshole.
Ed and Eddie.
Such an yes. So Homestuck, Ed and Eddie, same thing. Let's rank them.
So, because you're a full act ahead of where I was, again, like, you said the first 3 are fairly similar and fairly solid, and then 4 is getting long in the tooth.
So it doesn't help that there is like 100-page intermission about a separate story. It's like that detective comic thing.
Okay.
And
I didn't know you, like, those are unimportant, and I didn't realize until it was too late that those little side click things were actually not meant to be fully explored, I guess.
Right,
like,
okay.
Because I stopped around, like, I got like 100 pages into like Problem Sleuth, and I went, wait, how fucking long is this? And I saw it said it was a couple of 100 pages. I was like, okay, stop. This is not meant to be consumed as you clicked in the middle of Homestuck issue 6 to go read all of Problem Sleuth and then go back to issue 7, you know?
So this was like that, except the story linearly led me there.
Relevant, yeah.
And it was this so basically it's this very complicated story where all these different detectives are in this big mansion, and they all have powers that relate to either spatial manipulation or time travel in a hyper nuanced way. And it got on top of me very quickly, and very quickly I was like, I don't want to fucking follow all this. And there was cool parts to it, like really genuinely cool parts to it, and then some of it's like, okay, I don't know why this character is now back in this scene, but they're dead in this alternate universe, but they're alive here. And it was just like,
there is a downside to internet, like internet media presentation of things, where it's almost like when you go wiki diving, where you're looking for a linear story, and part of what you might get here is like gonna send you off in wild tangents.
Yeah,
and,
it felt like
it
felt like part of the story was designed for me to go down into the forum and be like, wait, why is Eggs here now? And then someone was like, oh, Eggs' power is that he's able to duplicate himself, but when he does, his version of himself in another reality comes back. Like, that's kind of what it felt like. But there's been a lot of that in chapter 4. But like, I'm still kind of enjoying it, but yeah.
Like, Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff is like a funny bit, and then you're like 30 Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff comics in, you're like, how many of these am I supposed to read before I get back to the main, like, you know, like, they just kept going. So anyway, all right.
Okay, Woolie, this was my recommendation to you. Where are you feeling it?
I mean, shit. I can feel the breath on the back of my neck. I can feel the crosshairs scanning. But look, this is a competent piece of media. This is something that, like, for what it is, and then for what, you know, what the internet did to it, are two different stories.
Isn't that an idea for a video now?
Those are two different stories, for certain. But like, what I see is the setup for this quirky sort of tale, and yeah, I think it was. I think it was better than. I think it was better than the 1997 Shining miniseries.
Mm-hmm. So you have it below Cyber 6 at number 41.
Cyber 6 is one of my active enjoyments, personally, so this is always going to be these are always weird stumbling blocks, because you have your own stumbling blocks too, you know?
So I'm going to say it's better than the 1997 Shining miniseries, which is a piece of media I have a lot of fondness for. I think I can go below Cyber 6. I think the only thing is, like, I feel like it's a little harsh, but yeah, it's not beating solo leveling, and maybe there, it's just fucking crazy. Maybe there's a reality where we both read all of Homestuck and it goes way up, but in the format of this podcast, we could only read as much as we could read. I am going to continue to read it. Maybe we come back and adjust it in a Grand Theft Auto at some point. Grand Theft Audit.
It's actually not so dissimilar to solo leveling either. If you really think about both of those, it's not that far in subject matter and, and plot.
Dave Strider would love solo leveling.
Oh, that would be his favorite of all time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that's the spot for it. It is going above the Shining miniseries and below Cyber 6.
Now to catch up on 20 years of memes. God. That is always the thing, too, is like, now that you've completed it, you can go experience all the memes. I feel like the first time I experienced that was like upon beating Persona 3 and then Persona 4. It was like, now you can go watch the Hi, I'm Daisy, animations, or like some of the stuff that people used to animate in like Persona Waifu Wars that you just couldn't understand what the fuck was happening on the internet. Well, now that you beat Persona, you can get involved.
Okay, Woolie, what say we get involved in some recommend or die? Okay. Let me just get ready here.
You were standing the whole time?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Kudos to those quads.
Thank you. Okay, Woolie, there's a bit of a devastating revelation I got to drop on you here. We just spent 2 hours talking about a 1999 anime and a 2009 webcomic.
Mm-hmm.
Woolie, we're Unkslop. Look at this fucking list.
Tough times.
Tough times. It's look, we're both pushing 40. Some of us may have even crossed that line already. We gotta win the kids back over. Oh. We gotta make a big, dramatic move.
Yeah, we gotta make a play. We gotta make a play for the youth.
We gotta make a play. We gotta. Woolie, I've seen our numbers with Gen Z. It's not good. I don't even want to fucking tell you how we're pulling with Gen Alpha.
Sounds to me like you're setting up a double blind.
I'm not, Woolie. This is actually something that I've watched very recently. And from the moment I understood what was happening in this piece of media, I said, I have got to get Woolie's opinion on this. Woolie, tell me what you know about the amazing digital circus.
This USB stick has the entirety of it sitting right here.
Really?
Hold up.
I don't know if he's going to combo break me or not, and I'm scared.
These two are sitting right here.
Am I to understand? Is this a combo breaker?
No, John, it's not a combo breaker.
But then,
but I've been waiting.
But you have Gummy Goo.
I'll take your rack.
He's the best one.
Yeah, I'll take your rack. No problem. I've been waiting.
Interesting. Okay. Have you experienced any of it?
No. but it's all right here. It's all right here.
What is going on? So
what's going on is, perhaps I know my buddy a little bit better than he knows himself, or I don't know,
I mean, okay, Woolie, your recommendation is The Amazing Digital Circus. I am really interested to know what you think. What is going on? What is going on?
With pleasure.
Why do you have those?
I will happily consume The Amazing Digital Circus for the first time.
But why do you have the merch? Why did you know this was coming?
Is it my turn?
Do you have a mole?
No.
Is there a mole? Is there a little fox-shaped mole?
I promise you no. I swear to God, no. No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
You just happen to have Amazing Physical Circus merch, having never watched it.
Correct.
It's nearly midnight here, Woolie. I'm so...
All right. All right. Sorry. Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
All right. Oh, man. I love this podcast.
No! Oh, here it comes.
I love this podcast. Have I told you recently how much I love this podcast?
You've said it 4 times. This is the most scared I have ever been. Just do it. Just fucking do it.
This is the only time I get to say some shit like, nigga, you about to read the Bible.
Woolie? What the fuck are you talking about?
The Bible, John.
Woolie?
The Holy Bible? John, your recommendation for next month is the Bible. Oh, God, I love this show. I love it so much. I love it so much, John.
Why?
I couldn't have it any other way.
What is
We
happening?
will see you.
Why? That doesn't make
Next
any sense.
Month.
I don't understand. I don't understand what's happening. What? Hello, Versus Wolves listener. It's me, John, the fan favorite of the Versus Wolves podcast. And I bring to you a little treat, a preview of our Patreon exclusive Lancer episode. I asked Woolie to record this insert with me, but instead he sent me the message saying, and he asked me to read this verbatim, fuck the fans. Well, that's why people consider him the villain of the podcast. Enjoy! And if you do, remember, you can get more at patreon.com/Versus Wolves podcast, which I'm like 90% sure is the right address, but I'll have Fox put it on screen if it's not, and also in the description. Okay, enjoy.
So there we are. We're in the station hangar. The smoldering wrecks of 2 White Tiger pilots, like, filling up the area with smoke. You guys had a pretty rough scuffle with them, but were able to dispatch them. There were more mechs and also other White Tiger forces, like, in the station. You saw that they had massacred a lot of the security forces in the room just before coming into this one. Your mechs were in this hangar, but there was pretty much nothing else. There's a bunch of cargo in here. This door over here you see is like a blast door that is functioning like an airlock. Opening it will seal the doors behind you and open that directly into space, and get you guys outside of the station. Speaking of which, do you guys want to play a little scene out before we kind of move things forward, or how are you feeling about that?
See, I knew Indira was a robot the entire time, and I knew that you were trying to entrap me in some kind of perverse game. And by going with that game, I exposed what you were trying to do. That's it. I ain't ever in love with no robot, that's for sure.
You see, Indira, I told you about these people. These are the NHP racists. They are not worth considering or talking about. You know, no. I have warned.
She just goes, "It's fine. I don't judge."
I have warned her about your kind.
Thank you, Indira, to whom I have completely platonic feelings for.
That's completely fine. We have to be co-workers, and we're all professionals here, right?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe they let you have a cat.
set me up, you piece of shit. You wanted this.
I think we're having this conversation while you guys are...
Grabs Trev. You leave your bitch out of this!
I think we're having this conversation while we're like repairing our mechs, right? We're doing this.
Yes.
Okay. You back up a little bit. You guys get back to finishing your repairs. It takes you, 15-20 minutes. Like just like patch jobs basically. You didn't take too much damage. Didn't take any structure damage. You get a little ping over your comms, and you see it is Pepper.
Another robot trying to make me feel weird things.
Excuse me?
You holding the button? Never you mind. I was talking about a different, beautiful southern robot. Don't worry.
What's that supposed to mean, southern? I'm from Mars.
Once again, Mademoiselle Pepper, I have said these are the NHP racists. Do not think twice. Do not consider their words. They just parle nonsense,
Okay, well, boys, we detected some gunfire over there by the hangar. Everything good? Situation copacetic?
Situation is under control. Yes. Perhaps you'll have some cleanup. We have neutralized the enemy.
Good. I cannot say the same.
We also beat him.
Good. We are surrounded in this bar, but things are holding out okay. I've pressed some of the residents into the fence here. It's been pretty tough, but I am getting that there's a lot of White Tiger forces on the station. This is a pretty big outfit. Concentrations are, let's say, a little severe. Not only that, station security is on pretty tight lock. Most of the doors on the inside have been sealed. That lock will take 3 hours of manual hacking access to lift. I know you're a bit of a wizard there, Cliff, but I don't know if that's something you can do. Given our time frame, let's say. Yes.
Once again, everything has a price. It sounds like the mission is getting a little bit more complicated.
Now, you listen here, Pepper. I don't want you to worry about anything. We will take this on. Faithfully, the Black Hand and his brand new... Puts my hand on Trev's shoulder, looks him deep in the eye, and gives him the most sincere smile. Sidekick. I'm trying to meet you halfway here, Trev. Trying my best to meet you halfway.
Indira calls the dry cleaning. Set up an appointment, huh?
Of course.
Merci.
You see a little notification pop up on your visor for like a dry cleaning appointment.
Yep. All right. There we go.
Pepper's like,
hold on a second.
You guys hear a couple of gunshots in the background of her audio feed. It kind of breaks up a little bit. There's a click, comes back on.
Okay, yeah. Anyhow, I think I figured out a solution. There should be an emergency cargo access hatch directly to station maintenance on the outside of the station. That'll be on the surface of the asteroid itself. That means you're going to have to go EVA. Well, not EVA per se, but you're going to have to get out of the airlock over there. And how Apollo, you don't have any maneuvering ability, right? In 0G.
No maneuvering on ground, no maneuvering in air, just,
But Trev, your mech can fly, I believe.
Bien sûr, of course.
Okay, let me have a look.
Hey, wait a minute. What did that mean?
Station Dock should have some armature for easy access. They're pretty fragile, mostly used for cargo, but Apollo, if you have a look around as soon as you get out there in the outside, you might be able to find some kind of solution. It's risky.
Can do, Pepper. And I just want to stress again that the Russia battle is all the payment that me and Trev here need.
We have separate contracts, of course. This is not the same paperwork,
I've already put in a renegotiation request. Hold on.
Oh.
You guys hear another gunshot?
I've already put in another renegotiate. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting all mixed up. Man, damn it. It's hard to concentrate.
Everything okay up there, Pepper?
Listen, I can say there's about 24 guys outside, are pretty heavily armed, trying to surround this place right now, so I'm sort of trying to control the manual shutter lockdown at the same time. That's kind of like rubbing your tummy and pat your head at the same time in human terms. Look.
Just beat him.
I'm looking
Shall we reconvene? Shall we return to you?
No. I need you to get to that station reactor pronto. Things are not looking good with the planet-side governor. He has not received... There's nothing coming up the pipe. I don't know if he's willing to let the whole station burn or not, but that's not something we want to happen.
Okay, how many bogies between air and where we are going?
Unclear. I don't have any eyes on the outside. But I need you all to get out there and look for that access hatch best you can.
Pepper, we can do, but before I agree to anything, I need you to answer me a very sincere question.
Okay,
Can you understand any more than 50% of what Trev says? Because for the life of me, I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, I can speak over 4,000 languages, so...
Of course!
Yeah, he can't speak one! He can't speak one! Whatever language is coming out of Trevier, it's not one of them! It can't be!
Okay, y'all stay safe out there. Make sure you get back in the mechs before you disengage the harbor.
Excuse-moi, we do not all speak Carni.
Please don't speak over the lady, Trev.
Carni.
She hangs up. My
parents ran the best damn carnival.
Writing down some new lore.
Inzigraar?
Yep.
Never mind.
Do you think Indira likes me, or like is it just a kind of like just curious? Like is it a kind of
Apollo? I can still hear you, Apollo. Would you like me to mute?
Mute Indira.
Tagay. Okay, just silence, s'il vous plaît.
Okay, we'll come back to it. Time and a place. Time and a place. Understood.
Okay. Game discussion side. Yeah. So we are repaired.
Yep.
Or repairing.
Mm-hmm. Finish repairing.
And so now the No Tomorrow needs to go out into the 0G.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get outside the station.
Do we need Time Gentleman, please, to hack the door?
Nope, you should be able to open it. The controls should be in here. And you guys can see them. They're over here. Let the pop the door open. You may need to hack the door on the other side. You're not sure what the situation is over there. Pepper doesn't really have any knowledge of what's outside of the station or any bogeys out there.
And outside of combat, am I still subjected to the flight or turn-based restrictions and things like that?
In combat, yes, we're doing like heat for flight, that kind of stuff. Outside of combat and narrative, we don't worry about that stuff. We can wing it.
Okay.
You should know in 0D situations, unless your mech has flight capabilities, it is slowed, meaning it can only take its basic move, but it can fly for free, basically. If your mech has flight capabilities, it's not slowed and can fly without spending heat, basically, in a 0D situation. Pepper said that there should be some armatures outside, like things that can... I don't know if... Jeez, what's the mech? You know in Gundam when they get in like a bigger Gundam?
An extra unit to continue, like a dendrobium unit. Like, okay.
Yeah. There's some armatures out there that should be able to allow Apollo's mech to fly around.
So just so I'm clear, mech suits for your mech suits.
Correct. We are doing
or machine robo, this original thing. A robot gets in a robot and it gets in a third bigger one. And it's great.
Okay. But yeah, so you're to get outside the station, look for this like emergency maintenance hatch that shouldn't be able to be locked down like the rest of the station. Otherwise, getting to the core through the middle of the station would take extremely long, and the poor game master will have to scramble to come up with scenarios for you guys.
I cannot believe we fought to a standstill on Cressidium and you cannot even fly.
Well, thank you, Trev. I understood most of that, and I just am a very skilled pilot who just it's my battle instincts honed from years of pro wrestling. Why, this one time I had to and we fade out.
Yeah. Let's fade back into you guys get back in your mechs. I think in your mech you actually have a hard suit too. So it's not like you could get in without the hard suit. Right.
And that's how I survived my 4th title offense with 2 broken legs.
An attempt at a high-flying maneuver, I see. This is why we don't fly now.
Didn't go my way.
What do your pilot's hard suits look like if you're wearing one? You could also ride a mech without a hard suit on. It does help with the neural interfacing stuff. There's usually a big plug in Lancer mechs that goes in the top of your spine. That's how you kind of control stuff. But some people ride it without a suit on. That's called riding naked. It's extremely dangerous. You could, if you have a hard suit though, tell me what it looks like. Is it kind of sleek? Is it kind of spacesuity?
Mine is like very bulky and it looks completely ridiculous. It's all pink and it has 2 cat ears at the top. And I come out in it and I'm just like,
mine is still in the shop. Please don't. Just, can we not do this?
What are the risks of riding naked? Hull breach?
Yeah, hull breach, that kind of thing. If you're in 0G or radiation or things like that. Also, it's a way to... Some people, all like Horus pilots will do it. Because they're like, dude, remove all the layers of interface between me and the mech, man. I want to get skin on skin here. Like, I want to get out of this.
That's what those freaks would like.
Yeah. Are there any other advantages? Okay.
Nope, no advantages whatsoever.
Purely psychological.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I've got an operational hard suit. Nothing fancy. It's very, very standard or issue. However, there is a tie on the outside, visible.
Okay, I look at the tie in my like pink cat outfit.
You look ridiculous.